What's up, man? How you doing?
All right.
We are now being joined by Brennan Ward. We're good. What's up, Brennan? How you doing, man? How's it feel to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota? Feels good?
It's good.
We're in Storley's home state of South Dakota, so I think it's safe to assume that he'll have a good amount of friends and family in the audience this weekend. But I just received word that your boy Sean Shamrock, he just touched down here in Sioux Falls, in this beautiful state. Are you expecting to have some friends in the crowd yourself? Is Albert making the trip? And what type of reaction do you expect to draw from the fans come Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have some of my hooligans are gonna be in the house. Yeah, I just picked Sean Shamrock up at the airport. My boy Joe's here. I'll have some. There'll be some hooligans out there, and I don't mind. I like fighting. I don't care where we are. Mm-hmm. Your backyard, my backyard. It don't matter. Mm-hmm. I'm unfazed by any of that bullshit, And I think it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, dude. Where we fight, and I think people know that too. That's why I had this is the first time someone's even like mentioned to me, how's it fighting in his backyard? Because people know I don't give a fuck.
What can you tell me about Mike Penta and how he's influenced you throughout your career and helped you specifically in this past training camp?
Oh yeah, Mike and I, we've been friends for a long time, and before any of the fighting shit, you know what I mean, and he came to one of my first pro fights and saw how gassed I was, and he's been training me ever since, and I can show up. I've showed up to him fucking 2 weeks before a fight, like, oh, Mike, I need you. And he's like, all right, let's go. 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days. He don't care. He'll take me on. He's my boy. He's like a brother to me, He's like a big brother,
There's a lot of people out there that believe with a victory this weekend over the #1 ranked former interim champion Logan Storley that your next fight should be fought for the belt, 5 rounds with the undefeated Yaroslav Amosov. I know you're fully focused on this matchup with Storley, but how much does a Bellator championship interest you? And do you believe that you'd be putting yourself next in line for a title opportunity with a win in Friday's main event?
Yeah, I mean, Logan's the #1 guy. So I feel like it would only make sense, you know what I mean? But dude, if I fight him, I don't, and I hate to always say this because like it must like not that it gets redundant, but people must be all right. We get it, we get it. But I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Like this is not. It's not as much of a sport to me as this is a fight, man. And I'll fight anybody. I'm not impressed by your skills and your this and your that because I'm bringing a brawl to you. Like I'm gonna brawl with you. And that's what it is. So Amosov, he's great. He's super technical, very well, dude. He's more than well rounded. He's good everywhere. But dude, we're gonna brawl though. It's not gonna be pretty. He's not going to keep me away from him with front kicks and long jabs. Like, it's not going to happen, dude. I'm going to come fucking flying in with big hooks and big overhand rights, and he's going to have no choice but to respect it and cover up. And once I'm in, and shit will go from there. And I'm going to push against the fence and fucking uppercut. Dude, I get dirty. I'll fight you the same way if I'm going to fight you in the parking lot at Walmart as I'm going to fight you in the cage, bro. We're going to get nasty.
I know you don't train with them primarily, I don't think, but I saw you got some training in alongside or with Alex Pereira and Sean Strickland during this camp. How was it like to work with those guys?
Sean's real cool. He's a real cool guy. And yeah, he's great. He's like what MMA needs, man. MMA needs guys like Sean Strickland who had like that he's got like superstar power, that kid now. Like he's huge and he is your regular fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? If you, dude, he'd go have a burger and a beer with you after the fight. Like anybody, he's not this like uppity type guy. Like, hey man, like, I offered to go back and wrestle and train with Alex's guys. Fucking crickets, whatever. It's cool. Hey, I don't give a fuck, dude. I'm in Connecticut. You're in Connecticut. You fucking need a wrestler. I'm a wrestler. Whatever. It's fine. No skin on my teeth, trust me. You know what I'm saying? Give a fuck. But No, but Sean's cool. Sean's down to train. I messaged him. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's train. You know, we're like, I'm not going to beg to train with anybody. Fucking please, dude. We're MMA fighters, bro. You ain't the MLB. You ain't in the fucking NBA. Yo, you ain't no fucking millionaire fucking. Yo, we're MMA fighters, bro. People, there's MMA champions right now who join an MMA gym to lose weight. And now they're a fucking champion of the UFC. Come on, man. You think, you gonna go pick up a baseball? I think I'm gonna be a pro baseball. You ain't fucking doing shit. Go sit down. So humble yourself. Everyone, all these MMA fighters who think that they are besides McGregor, humble yourself, man. Humble yourself. You know, be cool to everybody. Because you really, this is gonna get twisted. I know that. But hey, that's how I feel. I've always felt that way. You know, be cool. Be cool to everybody, because we're really, man, anybody can do this. This is one of those pro sports that anybody can fucking do. You know, not anybody can go play pro football. Not everybody can go play pro baseball. Later in life, I'm talking, you know, you could be 20 years old and go join a gym, a UFC gym, and get into the UFC one day. You're not going to pick up a baseball at 20 years old and gonna be in the MLB. It's what? Please, dude, please. You couldn't get a hit across the street. And this is an independent league. You ain't getting a fucking hit, dude. You ain't getting a hit. I grew up playing baseball. I'm not going to get a hit over there. No, we're all getting struck out. You know what I'm saying? Be cool. You could jump on an undercard MMA fight. I bet you fuck somebody up. You probably get a Bellator contract. You might be on the early prelims in the UFC, dude, in a year. Yo, what's up, dude? There you go, bro. So that's my point. I got a little carried away with it, but that's my point. Is be cool. Like, you ain't fucking better than anybody, you know? Yep.
Hey, Brennan, Pat Dano, Combat Sports.
What's up, man?
Hey, so you said the other day that you might not want a title shot if you win this fight. Just elaborate more a bit on that thought process and why you might not want a title shot.
I got kind of cast into this, like when I came back, what was it, a year and a half ago in February 2022, right? I didn't know what I was gonna do with this yet. If I was just gonna fight part-time, work my union job full-time, and just fight middle of the road guys at Mohegan Sun once, twice, maybe 3 times a year. That sounded real good to me, That sounded real good, especially the new contract they got. It was decent money, 50 G's to fight in my hometown, and I wasn't trained. I was training, but my first 2 fights back, dude, I worked. I was working my job right up until the week of the fight. I worked, so there was less stress because I knew I was part-time. Everybody knew I was part-time, so it was almost like they expected like part-time results. You know what I mean? Now, when the Homasi fight came up on CBS, over the winter, and hey, you want to fight Sabah Homasi on CBS? It's like, fuck, like I do, but it's like, but do I? Like, do I want to not quit my job? Do I want to take time off of work and really be a full-time pro fighter again? And it used to give me a lot of anxiety being a full-time pro fighter, all the pressure and shit that goes with it, So, I kind of just, it happened and I went with it. And I won that fight. It was a good fight. And people like what they saw out of me and Sabah, dude. We killed it. Me and him killed it. Shit, we're up for fight of the year. Dude, we fucking killed that shit, man. I don't care. I know Sabah's mad he lost. He already knows, dude. He already knows he can go win. I'll win. I'll run him back for the belt. If I get the belt, he'll get first title shot as long as he's winning. And it's like, and then this fight came about. So it's kind of, it like forced my hand. And I didn't want to say no to fighting these guys. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't why. Like, do I want to fight Logan Storley? Like, sure. Yeah, I do. But in order to fight Logan, I have to take time off of work again. I have to actually fucking train. I actually have to get in shape. You know what I mean? So everything that goes with it. And, I didn't have time to make up my mind. It got made for me,
So it was basically just taking that next step.
Yeah, man, this is the next step right now. And if a title shot is next, and who knows what the giant elephant in the room for everybody, who knows what's going on with this promotion. You already know I love Bellator. I've been fucking claiming Bellator boy since day one. I don't fucking want to go anywhere else. I don't. There's one place I want to go. If this ever folded, It's not even for the reasons why the general public thinks, man. You know, people want our fucking roster. Our roster is the best now that it's ever been. The Bellator roster is stacked right now. You ain't coming to fucking Bellator and getting a cakewalk to the belt. Fuck no, dude. There's killers in every division. You know, there's killers in every division, man. I've always loved Bellator, man. Always been proud to fight for Bellator. Always. You know, I never saw it as a step below the UFC. I saw it as an alternative to UFC. This is a fighter-based promotion. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I've had in the past, dude, I've had Bellator. I don't even give a fuck. It's on the record. Fuck it. I've had Bellator advance me money out of my fucking purse because I've been broke. And I'm like, yo, I want to train for this fight. I want to stop working. Yo, here's 10 grand. Here you go. Go take it out of your purse. Yo, is the UFC doing that? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I always felt at home here. This is like, I always felt at home with Bellator. And, you know, there's no, I'm a kind of guy, dude. I have to be very comfortable with what I'm doing, man. I don't like feeling awkward. I don't like feeling like I'm an imposition on people or people are imposing on me or what's going on. I need to just go with the flow. And this place has always been so natural to me, you know?
So you had some back and forth with another fighter on this card, Dalton Rosta.
Yeah.
Is that a fight you think we could see at some point in the future?
I mean, maybe like down the road, but that kid's he's on a fucking warpath to the top of 185. That fucking kid's a problem, dude. And he's a big kid, man. He's fucking big. Do I think I could fucking give him a scrap? We would scrap for sure. Definitely, dude. Definitely. I don't think the fight's gonna happen. And he's a good kid. And he's a really good kid. He reminded me a lot of myself when I was younger. He's like 27. He's young. I'm fucking 35, dude. You know, he's a big, young, strong kid, man. I might have my hands full with him. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather for now, I'll keep him as an ally. Dude. No, he's a good kid, man. I like Dalton. If a super fight would ever come about down the road, I'm sure he'd be down. I'd be down, of course. If the money's right, you fight anybody. He might have to fight his own teammate for the belt, you know? So.
What's up, Brennan? Dylan Napoleon, New England MMA here.
My man.
This camp, I seen you did some work with Billy Goff, a big wrestler back home in Connecticut. What can you tell me about being around him and having him help you get ready for this fight?
Billy's that's my boy. You know, we live so close to each other. We train, you know, at least once or twice a week where I'm always in there with him. I'll be home to help him out with his shit coming up. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Billy's great. He's probably one of the toughest kids. He's probably the toughest kid that I train with, that I've ever trained with. I'll go out and say that. Have I fought with guys who are, you know, he's young too, man. He's like just getting cracking, you know, and about to make his debut in 2 weeks and for the UFC. And but dude, there is no quit. There is zero quit in that kid. You gotta put a bullet in that kid. You know what I'm saying? He's the type of fighter that I don't like fighting. You know what I'm saying? Where he's not, it's hard to break him. You know, where my pace and my tenacity and the way I fight can break people. Do you know what you know, that's why I have so many, even not just my last 3 fights, but in the past. Yeah. Look at my past. How many fights have ended in the second round with me? Yeah. A lot of my fights end in the second round because I fucking pour it on. You know, and so by the second round, dudes are like, fuck, you know, and but a kid like Billy, dude, he's a fucking animal. Yeah, he's an animal. And I see him going real far in the UFC. I see him going real far, not just because he's my boy, but because I can just see what is, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And you made comments that Logan wouldn't be able to lay and pray with you in this fight, which is something that he's done in the past, or maybe, you know, his wrestling is super advanced and uses that in a lot of fights. But you said that that wouldn't work with you in the arsenal that you have. What do you believe will be some of the big determining factors in this fight?
I mean, I think he might come out and try to stand. I got like a weird feeling that he might come out and try to stand. I fucking hope he does, man. I hope he wants to try to. I hope he worked on some cool little knickknacks with his fucking boys down there. Then they're gonna come out and do some knickknacks. Maybe try to kick my calves and fucking bullshit like that. I'll fucking put him to bed. You know what I'm saying? But if he does what what he, what everyone thinks he's going to do. He just comes out and shoots from across the cage. Dude, I wrestled my whole life. I fucking wrestled, dude. I got my plaque at home.
Yeah.
I got my plaque. I don't got 4 of them like him, but I got a plaque. And I was a fucking jerk off in college too, bro. I was a fucking jerk off. I didn't fucking train. I was eating Burger King. You know what I'm saying? J-Woo was just getting cracking. We were just getting good. They're fucking serious now. We weren't as serious back then. I didn't take it as serious. And dude, you can't just come out and you ain't gonna come out and just take me down. I've never really been taken down.
Yeah. And last from me, what can you tell me about your recent endeavors with Monster Energy and being a part of the team now?
Yeah, I was with Monster. I was with Monster a long time ago. Hans Mullenkamp. He's a, I consider him a friend of mine and someone I look up to in many aspects of life, man. He's an incredible father to his kid. Dude, he has so much fun with his kids. He's got his shits in order. Dude, as far as being an entrepreneur, whatever he touches turns to gold, that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and I had an opportunity, we parted ways back when I was doing my fucking crazy shit I was doing. When I dropped off the earth, obviously I wasn't sponsored by Monster anymore. And then after the last fight, Hans, we talked and he invited me back on the team. And, aside from how cool it is to be sponsored by Monster, Hans is the kind of guy that I like to, have in my life. Do you know what I'm saying, man? He's nothing but like a positive influence kind of guy. Do you know what I'm saying, man? Like he's a fucking role model, the guy, it's undeniable. So yeah, it means a lot to me to be back on Monster, for more than just that it's fucking pretty swag. It's a pretty swag sponsor, but there's a lot of cool guys, man. Another guy, I got close to some of these guys, Cody Dresser is another guy. He's on the action sports side, but these dudes are all family men, man. And they're all just like living like a cool, fun life. These dudes have fun. They take care of business. They're about their families. They're great guys, man. It's great company, so.
I just have one last one. You said the word super fight, so it made me think about earlier this week. You mentioned how you would love to one day fight one of these Paul brothers, Diaz brothers, something like that in the boxing realm. How it's unlikely, I know, but you would
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, talk about that, but also, would you entertain maybe or have any interest in a boxing match one day, maybe down the line?
I mean, yeah, I would. I would definitely box down the line. I think that I would have to get my name's gonna have to get bigger in order to get some of these big fights. Dude, all respect to Nate Diaz. He deserves all kinds of respect. But me and him are literally the polar opposite. Like he has a massive following and he can't fucking hit hard, dude. So it's a very safe fight to fight Nate. So Jake Paul, great job picking him out. He's not going to knock you out, but yet millions of people are going to watch for Nate Diaz. I'm the fucking opposite. I got 30,000 followers, dude, and I can fucking smoke anybody. So what? You're going to get knocked out by me and no one even fucking knows who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying, man? So I got to get big. I got to blow my name up and then I could take the boxing world. I could take it over if I want. I can box. I can box. You see me brawling on the MMA cage. I have a different stance. I have a lower stance in MMA, so I can not get taken down, and I throw a lot harder in MMA. I can box. You want to put some fucking boxing shoes on, bro, and jump in a ring? I'll light dudes up.
Brennan, just one for me. Did something awaken inside of you in that Sabah Hamasi fight? I know you're very open, and I commend you for being open about your life journey.
Yeah.
I think it's a motivating thing for a lot of people inside and outside the sport.
Yeah.
But was there something woken in you in that fight? Because you kind of talked about first coming back and how that conversation went with Bellator.
What do you mean, like prior or like during it?
During it, or just something where you're like, all right, now, because now look, you said your first conversations coming back with Bellator, maybe you're fighting and you're still working, but now here you are, you're in Logan Storley's backyard, you're ready to take his spot.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, I listen. I see things for what they are. I do. I'm not really like, I'm not like this huge optimist, dude. If I don't see like, so like with the Hamasi fight, I knew what was going to happen. I knew what would happen, dude. I knew it was going to be messy at first. It was going to be fucking crazy, right? I knew we were going to slug it out. I knew I was going to get hit. And then I knew if I kept putting that fucking pressure on, shit would start to turn my way. And it did. You know what I'm saying? So as far as like it being like, nothing is like awoken in me, dude, I can see what can happen. If I do my part, I can predict my outcome. If everything goes to my plan, just like Friday night, if everything goes to my plan, dude, I'm gonna fucking knock this kid out probably in late in the second round. You know what I'm saying? If it goes my way, if it goes the way I'm seeing it, it might not, but nothing's really, I'm not this like a woke kind of guy, dude. I'm like more of like a realist, like fucking call it how I see it, I know that's like a term with like the kids these days, dude's woke, bro. Like, I don't even know the fuck that means, dude. I'm just telling you what I think and what I know, like what I see. That's all I got, man. Yeah, man, for sure. All set. Later, motherfucker.
Hey guys.
All right, Steve. Welcome to Fight Week. I know we've talked about it leading up to this, but how excited are you now to finally get back in there and do your thing?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to close the book on this thing, get in there, figure it out.
What does this win over him do for you?
I mean, every time I fight is really just an opportunity to prove myself, to do the best I can, and to fight somebody that's a good competitor. And especially when it comes to Valentin Moldavsky, all those things are 100% true and relevant. So, like I said, all the anticipatory, build up and the implications that came with the first time, I feel like are every bit as prevalent then or now as they are then. But it's also the added bit of like, that unfinished business aspect.
No, I'm not asking for technique or preparation, but how do you prepare for a guy that you were in there for, and obviously not that long, but then you go and have another fight. So you kind of had some time in between. You're not the same fighter. He's not the same fighter. So what was that preparation like?
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't get enough cage time with him to kind of establish, what I can expect from him. So really, at the end of the day, you try to glean what you can from the performances in between, and then really just hope to translate that in a fight night. But ultimately, it's about me and what I do. So I'm looking forward to showing off my skill set here.
What's up, Steve? How you doing, man?
Good.
Stick with me for a sec. Logan Storley, Aaron Jeffery, Impa Casagnai, Michael Blockus, Jordan Oliver, Mitch McKee, of course, the legendary Jason Strout. The Killcliff gang is all here in South Dakota. How would you describe your experience training alongside the elite group of guys at Killcliff FC? And who are some fighters that push you to your limits on the daily throughout this camp?
Elite group of dudes in an elite gym, an elite facility in an elite state in Florida. It is absolutely incredible to be able to share a fight night with the guys you just mentioned, but also to, share a stable with some of the absolute best fighters in the world, some of the best guys doing it right now. It is wonderful. It is a time that whenever I first started my journey 10 years ago, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. I want to be fighting the best guys in the world, training with the best guys in the world. And it's almost like, you blink, you open your eyes again, and here I am doing it. It's incredible. It's absolutely sensational to, share a card with a bunch of guys that I like and respect and, grind with day in, day out. And, to be able to reach a point where it's like finally come to fruition. It's awesome. It's beautiful. A huge blessing.
You spoke a little bit about this just now, but I want to go even deeper into it. On August 12, 2022, you stood across Valentin Moldavsky for the first time, a fight that ended in unfortunate circumstances due to an eye poke, leading the bout to be ruled a no contest. 364 days later, August 11th, you two will step into the cage together once again. How good does it feel to get this one back, to have another opportunity to put away one of the promotion's top guys, a chance to defeat a former champion?
Yeah, same guy, same place, almost the same date. And weird how, what do they say? History doesn't repeat itself, but it echoes. And I really feel like the only echo we're not going to have is we're going to have a final decisive result. But it's good, it just feels good to, like I said, finally be in position to close the book on this thing and to share the cage with somebody the caliber that Valentin Moldavsky is.
And then last for me, I just wanted to ask you about that last fight. I was there, Bellator 290 out in California. The fight ended in a draw. Ali Asayev. Did you think you won that fight going to the announcement of decision? Like, were you confident, or watching that back, do you think they ruled it a draw? Do you think it was the correct decision?
Do I think a draw is a correct decision? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I try to be as objective as I can be, especially when it comes to my own, my own performance, my own development. And there really is no other way to cut it other than he won rounds 1 and 3, and I very decisively took the second round. I mean, even still, it's a thing where I had a lot from that fight that I got to kind of like stop and look back on, as and it was an awesome opportunity to be able to share the cage with, again, like a world champion from a different promotion, and a lot of build up, a lot of lead up, and another opportunity to prove myself against the other best guys doing it right now. But and while again it was disappointing to kind of have another, I don't want to say a non-result, a draw is a result, but to have another kind of like sort of inconclusive thing was a little bit of like a hang up maybe. But at the end of the day, we're just calling it what it is. Yeah, it was a draw. And I can even remember thinking, like, right after the fight, like, man, if they gave him this fight, it'd be because he won 2 rounds against my one, regardless of the amplitude. But that said, I spoke to Ali a little bit after the fight, and I told him, like, hey man, like, if they would have given it to you, I wouldn't have been upset. But I do think I won it 10-8 in the second. And I would die on that hill. So no, all respect to him and all respect to the judges, and whatever. Here we are now. We get to run out here and do it again. Thank you.
So that was a grueling fight against Isaev last time out. Would you say that that's a fight you might want to see again in the future, or no?
We could talk about it. I mean, I'm really only focused on Moldavsky right now, but I mean, the only thing I would say about that is that Isaiah, while he's is older for, just by athletic standards, doesn't have the mileage on him that, say, I would say I probably have more mileage on him than he does. And that's, again, not like to belittle him. It's just to say, man, I didn't have the full wrestling circuit. I went right into trading blows with the best dudes in the world. So I bet you Ali Isaiah is going to be around for a little bit longer. And if it comes up in the future, we'll see what happens.
All right, cool. So your slick submissions and mauling top pressure are something that you're known for, but Moldavsky is a 2-time combat sambo champion. Does your game plan change a bit knowing that he is probably equal to you on the ground and has skill, or do you think that you're just going to be able to run?
I'm looking forward to figuring it out. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing that gets me up in the morning. If I thought he was a square, if I wanted to beat up squares, I would have kept doing local jiu-jitsu tournaments in Pittsburgh. I'm talking, and no disrespect, but I proved myself there. I did my thing. And as the ranks went higher and the level went up, it's that kind of thing. It makes you nervous. A lot of ugly feelings that come with competing and fighting, a lot of doubt, a lot of pressure. But there's also a lot of, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. There's a lot of this intense fire I feel knowing that, like, and it's not like a purely happy thing. It is a little bit, a little anxiety, a little bit, whatever, nervousness, but there is this intense feeling of like, man, I'm here and I'm going to step into the cage with one of the best guys in the world, and we are going to freaking see how it all pans out, and I trained really hard and I did everything I could, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. But that said, I'm confident that combat sambo world champion stuff, that while all that's very impressive, I really think that I'm going to have the better run of it on Friday.
Okay, so just last off, what are your thoughts on the matchup between Ryan Bader and Linton Vassell, and do you think you could possibly see the winner in your next fight?
If it's Linton Vassell, no. But no, I pick Linton Vassell in that fight every time.
What's up, Steve? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA. I only have one for you today. So you've had 3 tough rounds with Ali Isaev, and in my opinion, I would say that Ali and Valentin they're pretty similar. Their styles are pretty similar. Going into this fight now, do you feel a little bit more comfortable having those tough 3 rounds with Ali under your belt?
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with the first part of what you said, in that I really don't feel like they're that similar. Ali Isaev is, bigger, stronger, probably the more more, I don't know if athletics is the right word, but maybe probably the more powerful of the two. He's a little bit more measured in his approach. He's a little bit more every time he does something, he does it as hard and as fast as he can, and then lends itself to. I mean, the takedown. I'll say this: when he shot his head to the inside, I've wrestled with some of the actual, some of the best guys that are in MMA that are wrestling. And never had somebody's head hit my chest and throw me right to my back the way he did. Where Valentin Moldavsky, a little bit more of a volume guy, but he throws caution to the wind. And if you take your eye off the ball for a second, you were eating 4 or 5 shots before you even get your feet under you again. And I mean, they both come from, if you want to call it a grappling, quote unquote, background. That's fair to say too. But again, Ali Asayev's, his stuff's a lot different than what Moldavsky said. Now to answer your actual question. No, yeah, absolutely. I went 3 rounds with a world champion. It was, again, like a win would have been better, but it showed me that, hey, like when I show up fight night and I give everything I can, I absolutely deserve to be in there with the best guys in the world.
We're good.
Marty?
Hey, Steve.
How's it
Just a quick one. You mentioned Linton before. Obviously, Linton has faced Moldavsky before and got the win against him. Have you spoken much to Linton about Moldavsky's style? And when Linton does become heavyweight champion, what does that mean to you? Obviously, you're ranked 3rd at the moment, and possibly could go to 2 after a win this weekend.
Well, the thing is, the question, the first part of that especially, is interesting because they fought a long time ago. Like what their first fight was, don't quote me, 4 years ago maybe. So like obviously we spent time talking about it because I felt like I was gonna end up fighting him anyway. But yeah, we spoken a little bit here and there about like what the plan of attack is. But if there is something that Linton and I do spend considerable time discussing, it's that come time to fight, it's never about what your opponent's doing as much as it'll ever be about what I do or what he and I do, especially when we face our opponents. So that's, usually the bulk of our time is spent like when we train, kind of addressing the holes that we see in each other, but also, building each other up, making sure we both feel confident and reassured and ready. And especially when it comes to feeling confident, reassured, and ready, it'll obviously feel nice for me to some degree to see Linton perform because, he's a training partner and, be really, really affirmative in the positive sense that like, wow, like Linton's a guy that I'm competitive with in the gym every day. And he went out and won a world title. So that can only mean for me that I could be competitive in a world title situation. But what it really would mean for me ultimately is just that, man, one of my best friends and a mentor, a big brother figure to me, went out there and attained his dreams. I would just be so unbelievably elated for him if he was able to go out there and win the world title.
Thank you, Steve.
All good. Thanks, guys.
What's up, Jalen? How you doing?
Amazing.
How you liking Sioux Falls, South Dakota so far?
Cool. Not running at night though. don't want any trees to leave me hanging.
How did you feel after that last performance a couple months back? And what were some of the key takeaways from that victory?
Just discipline. Gotta go work. At this level, everyone knows I'm talented, but I also have to put in the hard work. So that's all I've been doing, man. Putting in the hard work as well to back up the talent, and then become unstoppable.
Who's in your corner for this one?
Antonio and AJ.
You said your goal is to become unstoppable. What are your goals for this year or maybe in the next year or two? Like, what are your immediate goals in this sport? Just to keep on winning fights? Anything else?
Whoever Bellator puts in front of me, just finish them. That's my goal. I want to get back in the finish column. I like finishing fights. I haven't had a finish in almost 8 months. So it's a long time for me. So, or actually with this fight, it's actually over a year. So I want to get back in the finish column.
I know you're fully focused on the fight. What is it, 2 days from now? And I just asked you about your goals for like this year, next year. But when it's all said and done, I know you're a young guy, probably haven't given it too much thought. But when it's all said and done, what do you want to leave behind? What do you want the legacy to be? What do you want people to remember most about Jalen Bates?
The best bantamweight champion, at least in Bellator, and then eventually we'll go up to 145. But I've been on a strength and conditioning program. We've changed a lot during this camp. Strength and conditioning, diet, mainly the strength and conditioning and diet though. Training's been the same. And yeah, I can't wait to show you guys.
Hey, Patrick Dano, Combat Sports UK. So your health and fitness seem to constantly be in the forefront of your mind, even when you're not in training camp. How is staying in shape and keeping a constant workout routine important to your fighting career?
Because it's a lifestyle. It's not just something where some guys train only just for fights, or they'll go and they'll eat, a bunch of greasy ass food or whatever. It's like, especially, and I gotta credit my fiance. She's really helped me tone in on my diet and like maintaining that lifestyle. So it's good when you have a partner who's just as dedicated as you are.
So talking about people that have helped you out around you, talk about Coach McKee and how he helped you become more unselfish and realize the sport was more team oriented. Just talk about Team Body Shop a bit and just how much you've matured since first joining.
We're different. I'm a bunch of talented individuals. We're a young gym. Most of the guys I train with, if like 90% of the guys I train with are amateurs, 3-4 fights in, and they're all like 24-year-olds. But they can wrestle. We're a wrestling team. They can wrestle their ass off. A lot of them wrestled in college. So Body Shop is it's really a family. We all believe in God. In God we trust, and we pray every day after practice. I don't know what the fuck's going on with America, but they need to get it together. But yeah, we're a family, and we're gonna stick together through thick and thin.
Love that. So Barzola has more wins than any of your previous opponents have had total fights. Do you think that experience is going to be playing a factor in this fight, or do you think your skill is enough to overcome that?
Oh, off top is skill. I think he's a hell of a fighter. I heard he won tough or some shit like that. I didn't really pay attention, but that's cool. But he ain't never fought me before, and this is one of my most dedicated, mind fortified training camps I've ever been in. So I'm excited, and I'll rise to the occasion if not.
What's up, Jalen? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA. You were just speaking about, your preparation, your training camp, and how well it's been going. I remember your last fight in LA. It was a little tough on the scales that morning. Tough weight cut. How's everything going this time around? I'm hoping it's shaping up for you.
Yeah, weight cut's good. I'm back there drinking water. I'm gonna go get some water after this. It's fine. I'm a 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds out, especially when I drink water. But the water weight comes off easy. I came into this fight. I came in yesterday at 149. Now I'm 139. So, and it's not like a tough weight cut. It's actually really easy. So I'm excited.
It's good to hear, man. And we were talking about Enrique's experience a couple minutes ago. How does your game plan match up to his, and what about his experience is going to make this fight a little bit, I'm sure you've been able to watch a lot about him.
I want to know how he's going to beat me personally. I'm a tough puzzle to figure out, especially off my back. Like, you can take me down, but then what are you going to do with it? I think we saw that with Jornel Lugo. He took me down, but he didn't do shit the whole fight. I was hitting him from the bottom, and then when I did get on top, the little time I had his back, had him in a rear naked. He got out at the end there. We go 5 rounds, I finish him for sure, and that's all we've been training for as well. So I'm not really worried. We're working on 5-round fights, and that's where my conditioning is. I'm not these 3-round fights. That's great, but we're looking for the belt, and that's what I came in to do, and that's what we will do. Thank you.
Kind of adding to what you just said, you want to know how he's going to beat you. I had a chance to talk to him last week after I spoke to you.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to look for a 2nd-round submission. So just a response to that.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. 2nd-round submission. You know what? He's a pressure fighter, I'm sure, right? And I'm a pressure fighter as well. I go forward. So I'm excited to see how he deals with my pressure compared to me dealing with his, because he's cutting more weight. He's not he's I don't know if he's natural 35er or 45er, but he's cutting. His last fight was 145, and he did well. But I'm the most violent. I'm the most violent he's faced, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see.
I know we've talked about it, but now that we're here on Fight Week, I know you were asked about the weight cut, everything, but being a new father, now Fight Week's here. It's different when you're in camp and everything. Now everything's here, and there's a bigger purpose. Can you kind of touch on that?
Oh fuck, it's amazing. I do everything for family now. All I'm doing is thinking about my baby girl. I love her. So I can't wait to get this fight done and get this finish. Go and do some, father duties. Go change some diapers. Go to the beach. I want to take her to the fair. But yeah, I'm happy being a father, and it gives me more motivation, because before I'm fighting for myself, now I'm fighting for my family. It's amazing.
Last one for me. I know you mentioned it just a couple of minutes ago, 145 in the future, but that future is not anytime soon, or is it?
No, not at all. 145 is when I'm like, I'm 26, at least 30, 31. Give my body some time. Maybe even by then do a couple fights, but first it's about getting the belt at 35, defending the belt, and however Bellator wants to match me up, I'll go through the line. I'm fighting a number 9 guy. I'll go fight the number 8. I'll go fight the number 7. I'll run it down all the way down the line. And even if I'm champion by 2025, that's fine. I'll be 28. I'll be 28. And at least I'll have 2-3 title defenses by the time I'm 30. Then I'll go up. Thank you.
Mills?
Hey, what's going on, Jalen? It's MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio.
What's good?
Nothing much. I was able to talk to you last time out at the media day. We definitely talked about some things, but let's talk about your last win. Coming out a big underdog in Jornel Lugo, you was able to captivate and get that win by the decision. How did it actually feel to get that win in your hometown where you're fighting out of in Long Beach?
Obviously, I wasn't happy with the performance, but we got the win. That's all that matters. A lot more discipline, though. That's the thing. In this sport, I touched on this earlier. Everyone's talented, but it's about who works hard, and I've been working hard. So I can't wait to show you guys Friday.
Marty?
Hey, Jalen, Marty from the King's Court MMA from the UK. And a few days ago, you mentioned in an interview that this has been one of your easiest fight camps. Has it been that dedication and that training that has been the cause of that? Or was it the performance last time out that you were a little bit disappointed in that made you focus a bit more? What is it specifically?
I would say it's just the dedication, the overall having a family, being a dad, being a husband, future husband, being a fiance, like just having a family to feed. It makes me more responsible, and I'm a big cooker, so I love steak salads. I love chicken salads. I mix it up, put corn, put some black beans. You can. People think salads are boring, but you can really style up a salad the way you want if you know how to do it right and make it tasty. And it's low in calories, a bunch of other things, high on protein. So yeah, man, I've been eating a lot of salads, a lot of pico de gallo. My girl's Mexican, so shout out to her, and it's authentic. So yeah, it's been a good camp.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's up? I just saw that in the back. Yeah.
That excited me actually. I was just excited. There's another one. I'd like a feature more. Yeah, I want to come in December.
Lucas, welcome to Fight Week. How you feeling coming in?
Feeling great. Feeling great. Obviously I've looked a little better. But yeah, I feel all right.
I know you and I have talked about this matchup, and one thing I really, really admire and respect about you is just being a fighter's fighter. I know right before this started, we were just talking about Bellator 300. Obviously, you got to take care of business this weekend. What does the rest of this year look like for you, though?
300 particularly is a little close, but I would like to get another fight by the end of the year. 300, I didn't really specifically look at the date. I know it was just announced, but I imagine it's a little close for me to make weight again after this. So I'm assuming there's a 301 and a 302 and such things. I would like to get another fight by the end of the year. If not, then, I'm looking into the next year. So
This is obviously a very stylistic matchup. What are you expecting on Friday night?
I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I think there is no secret to his game plan and my game plan. I think there's no beating our way around that. But stylistically, I think as dangerous as this guy is, and as much as I respect his game and his style, I do believe, blueprint wise, it's the same. I'm seeing a lot of the same here. And I imagine his game plan is going to be the same as everybody else's has been. And not to be that guy, but looking at the track record of everyone else's way of going about it, it's not going well. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And he's cool. I ran into him last night on the treadmill actually. So I like that he's not a dick. We're probably gonna have a lot of fun and it'll be cool.
Hey, Lucas, Pat Dana from Combat Sports UK here. I just have one for you. What are some of the issues and problems you've ran into with being so young in a promotion filled with not old people, but older? It's a older sport. I'd say the average age is around 30 and you just turned 23. So just tell me some of the struggles there.
I don't know if you run into necessarily a lot of struggles being young. I don't know, but besides a lack of years of experience, right? Really, that's the only thing that you're losing there. But really, everyone's pretty welcoming as far as that goes. You just get told like to enjoy being young a lot. I guess all the old guys tell me that not to get old, but I feel old. I only look 23, bro. Like everything on the inside's expired, man. I'm struggling, but no, I don't know. I wouldn't say there's a lot of struggles. I just I get to enjoy it while I'm young, and no, I have no complaints here.
What's up, Lucas? I heard, and you just mentioned you had a friendly run-in with your opponent Weber Almeida in the the gym, right on the treadmill this
Yeah.
week. He's known to be one of the nicest guys, the happiest guys in the sport. Does it make it harder for you that his personality is making it harder to take the guy out, or does that all go out the window when the cage door shuts?
It doesn't make it hard, but it's at least cool. Like I like not having to beef with the dude all week because it's a whole other thing, you know. And like it's just cool that he's cool. I just went down to walk on the treadmill and he was down there and left me hanging for like a minute straight on a fist bump. Like he just went back to running, and I was like, please, like fucking. And then but no, he was super cool and just like he's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, brother. You know, I always knew we were gonna fight. You know, we were on a card together. I was like, he's good. I want to fight him. And it was like super, super cool. And I was like, all right, like fucking, you know. I don't know if I was quite as ecstatic, but like, you know, that's cool and all. So I don't know. Yeah, seems super respectful. And, you know, I like not having beef all week. You know, I want to be able to not, I want to be able to run into the guy and not like cause a commotion. We can just fucking go about our way, you know.
In addition to being one of the nicest guys in the sport, I think he has some of the coolest videos on Instagram performing WWE like stunts, doing crazy gymnastic stuff, backflips and whatnot. If you were to come out on top this Friday, could we potentially see a victory backflip off the cage, Justin Gaethje style?
Nope, because I'd end up like Johnny Walker, right? Or he did the celebration afterwards and like dislocated his shoulder or some shit. Nah, dude, I can't flex too hard without like hurting my no, like get me to do a backflip, bro. He'll catch like I'll submit him and then just like throw my back out. Like, nah, that would look terrible.
We'll leave the backflips to Weber. You've been working with Austin Ford a lot, former striking coach at Glory MMA, now down in Texas with you guys at Next Gen. Is there a chance we might see some new look striking from you come Friday night?
You know, perhaps. I think, you know, between every fight that I've had so far, especially recently, you know, with Austin being added into the mix, my striking has done nothing but improve, you know, as far as technically, but also just like on a comfortability level, you know, my striking has improved a ton. But I enjoy the fact that I haven't had to display much of it at all. You know, it's the less that I display per fight, the more that I've grown and not actually had to show. You know, there's not a lot of film to watch, you know, that's recent anyways. There's like bits of me standing on the feet for a while when I was like 18, which is like cool, but you know, it's, you know, that shit doesn't even apply anymore. So no, it's a lot of fun and my striking has been feeling amazing. And you know, maybe you'll expect a little bit. But you know, we'll leave that we'll see on this weekend.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Lucas? Dylan Napoleon, New England MMA here. So we're here in South Dakota. I just want to hear how you've been enjoying it so far and what you think about this place.
I feel like there's a lead in to something with that, but I'm gonna let it run. I don't know. I like it. I like it here. I haven't done a whole lot of exploring, only because I don't want it to be worse than you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But no, it's been cool. It's been cool. Ran into some cool people. It's been all right, you know. I haven't spent enough time here for me to like really hate it yet. But you know, so far the only like big redeeming qualities is the fact that there's a Bellator this weekend. So
well, you mentioned it and compared the two, so I guess that's half the battle, right? All right. So you've been cornering Tim Elliott in some big UFC fights and other teammates too. What does coaching and being on that side of the sport have to do, and how does that help you as an actual fighter?
You know, it's cool to be able to observe this sort of thing and be on the other side of it in the sense that I'm not the one that has to perform that weekend. It takes a lot of stress off of you to enjoy the fight week much more as opposed to right now where like I do enjoy the fight week, but like clearly I could be enjoying it a little bit more, you know, I look like a skeleton right now. So, you know, there's definitely things I could be enjoying a little bit more where I think if you're someone cornering, right, I get to enjoy the fight week a little bit more and you're definitely more on like I get to yell in the corner and things like that, and it's a lot of fun. And you get to see it from the outside, and it's you know it's still a real like surreal experience, but it's just different. It takes a lot of weight off you, and there's nerves involved because you know that's one of your buddies, that's someone you've been training with, you know. And you know me and Tim have trained a lot this year, and that dude's a freak, man. I don't know. Man, I don't even know if I could talk about some of the things that dude's like on here right now. Like that dude is insane. Love him to death. Love him to death. But like he is brawling every day in the gym. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter, dude. Like equal rights, equal lefts. That dude is crazy with everybody and has been an awesome teammate. And just like getting able to corner my guys, it's a lot of fun because I like to think that I've been able to play a major part just training with them a lot, being in their camps a lot, trying to be their guy for a while. So I enjoy seeing it pay off in a big way, when they win.
And last one from me, you just kind of touched on it. The team there at Next Gen, leveling up win after win, been looking great across the board. Would you consider right now the prime of the gym?
I think it gets better. I think it's been great right now. But I think it does nothing but improve. We have a great room of guys. We have guys that haven't even fought yet that I think are tremendous, that are just animals. And then, on top of the guys that have been fighting, guys that I think should be on cards with me right now. No, there are some killers in that room. And no, I think we're in a great spot right now, but the ceiling is significantly higher.
Thank you.
Marty?
Hey, Lucas. Obviously, we know that where your strengths lie. Obviously, you're a first degree in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. What decision, whose decision is it when it comes down to formulating your game plan for a guy like Weaver? And what do you have in store for him this Friday?
I leave the formulating of the game plan more or less up to my coaches in the fact that, I do watch some of the guy. I observe some of his fights, but I don't go crazy into watching the film a lot. I try not to obsess over it because I still intend on implementing my style and my game plan. And I think overthinking and overwatching the guy creates a way of I'm now formulating myself around this person, which is not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to impose, my skills and my being upon this other person. So, I leave game plan formulating to my coaches. They're going to watch the guy. They're going to watch his striking. They're going to watch his wrestling. They're going to watch his jiu-jitsu, or in my case, lack thereof, right? And, play around with those details. And, my coaches will formulate a way for me. And I can have my input in on that, right? But they, for the most part, are the all saying group on that. Sweet. All right.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing? How's it feel to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota?
Feels good, man.
You got off to a hot start here in Bellator with 2 knockout victories and as many fights before suffering a defeat in your last go around with John Salter. What were some of the key takeaways from that fight? And do you believe your few losses in the past played a large role in your growth as a martial artist?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, anytime you step in the cage, you're gonna grow a lot from it, whether it's a win or a loss. In terms of that last fight, man, like I've thought about it a lot. I just shit the bed, man. That's like all I can really chalk it up to. I don't think I performed anywhere near what I'm capable of. And I'm just not gonna let that happen again.
We all know you're still a very exciting fighter to watch. You're still ranked 6. You're fighting the number 4 guy in the middleweight division. Do you feel that a victory this Friday night will catapult you right back into those title conversations?
I think so, man. like there's few guys that are in the talks. I mean, like there's only 10 guys in the top 10, and a few of the guys near the top get talked about a bit more. So yeah, I think like any win when you're in the top 5 is huge.
You got your boy Impa Casagna here with you this week. What's it been like to train with Impa and follow along as he continues to reach new heights in the sport?
It's awesome, man. It's fucking inspirational. I'm sure you guys have heard the stories about him like a year ago, sleeping in his car. Now he's in the PFL final and he's fighting for $1 million. So it's been very cool to watch the whole journey. Me and him have become really close friends along the way. He's a great training partner. He pushes me hard. And yeah, he's just a very cool dude to be around.
And last one, Dalton is undefeated, as you well know. He's been successful against each and every fighter that he stood across from in the Bellator cage. Why won't he succeed against you? What makes Dalton Rosta a favorable stylistic matchup for yourself?
I don't think he's fought anyone near as good as me. I think he's kind of walked through a lot of these guys without much of a fight. And I think I'm going to be the first guy to put him in a fight, and I don't think he's going to like that. And I'm going to break his confidence. I think that's how I'm going to win.
Hey, Aaron. Patrick Dano, Combat Sports UK. So there's a lot of guys on Kill Cliff fighting on this card. So how does it feel to have everyone here, everyone training? I think there was like 8 of you in that room, all training, all getting ready for these fights. How much does it mean for all of you to be here together?
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's always good energy. I got a guy from back home too with me, Zach Powell, like one of the guys from Niagara, and me and him went in and did a few workouts, me and him, and we're having fun and we're pushing the pace a little bit. But then when me and him go in and there's like 10 other guys from Killcliff in there and the music's on and there's guys sweating and working and fucking breathing and everything, it's different energy for sure.
Most definitely. So what were your thoughts on Canada's big night at UFC 289?
It's sick, man. Yeah, I love to see that. I feel like our gym is finally getting some recognition. Niagara top team. We had a few people on the card. And yeah, it just it feels like Canadian MMA is back on the map.
What's up, Aaron? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA here. So right now, coming off that one loss or that loss back in California, what does this fight mean more or have any more stakes that others may have not?
I don't think so. I mean, it's like so cliche, but like every fight is the biggest fight of your career, coming off a loss, coming off a win. If I would have won that fight, this one would have been that much bigger because maybe this is the title eliminator. I lost that fight, and so now it feels like my back's against the wall. So it's super important. So I think regardless, every fight is going to be big.
Awesome. And we were just talking about Canadian MMA and the way that it keeps going up and everybody's kind of making their leaps and bounds in unison. What can you tell me about the Canadian MMA scene and the way it's grown in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, like seeing people at, what was it, UFC 289 picking up a bunch of wins. I think the Canadians were undefeated on that card, right? And I think three of the people on that card train at our gym. So it's cool, man. It's very inspirational. It's good for the gym. It brings people in. Like now, our girl Jazz back home, she has girls coming in to work with her. Hopefully that starts happening for some of the males in our gym too, like guys wanting to travel there. We actually just had another pro middleweight from out west who just moved to the gym. He visited for like a week and he decided he loved it, so he moved down. So hopefully that happens more and we get like one of the super gyms.
Yeah, 100%. And what is your analysis of Dalton as a fighter? And is this an exciting matchup for someone like you?
For sure, man. I think this is an exciting matchup for everyone. Like I have people at home saying like, not only are they pumped for me, they're just pumped to watch a good scrap because we're both scrappy guys. We're both tough. We both push the pace. Yeah, I like the matchup. I think he's good, but I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. And I'm just excited to show that.
And last from me, currently ranked number 6 in the middleweight division, not to look ahead and not to overlook Dalton, but if you can map out your path to gold here in the Bellator division, middleweight division, how would it go?
I mean, I don't know, like as least specifically as possible. I just want to kick everyone's ass and get the title. That's it, man.
You just mentioned it. You guys are both scrappers, both very exciting fighters. When you just mentioned backs against the wall, how much more motivating is that? Hey, I got a guy who's game. I got a scrapper. I'm a scrapper. but I got a lot that I want to go take from this guy. Not just the fact that he's undefeated, but you're looking to get back in the win column. So where's your mindset at coming in this week?
Yeah, like I said, man, like every fight is going to be the biggest fight of your career, coming off a win, coming off a loss, like Bellator debut, amateur debut, whatever it is, it always feels like the biggest fight. So I'm as motivated as ever.
Thank you.
Ken?
Hey, Aaron, K. Williams for Can Chronicles Media. What does a potential win of this magnitude do for you in your career thus far?
It's big, man. He's ranked number 4. He's got a bit of a name for himself. I think he's kind of a popular guy with the fan base. So yeah, it's huge. I think it does a lot for my career to beat this guy.
Thank you.
That's good. Cool. Thanks, guys.
What's up, Diana? Welcome to Sioux Falls. How are you enjoying this area so far?
Привет, Диана, добро пожаловать в Sioux Falls. Как тебе нравится здесь?
Здравствуйте, спасибо большое. Ну, я еще ничего не успела увидеть. Я думаю, после боя я тут погуляю.
Hi everyone. Thank you. To be honest, I wasn't able to check around. Maybe after the fight.
Awesome. And it seems as though every fight you've been getting better and better. Are you starting to become a little bit more comfortable and confident inside the Bellator cage?
Ты улучшаешься, ты себя начинаешь чувствовать увереннее в Беллаторе.
Да, конечно, и с каждым разом соперницы все опытнее и опытнее, и поэтому я тоже развиваюсь.
Yeah, of course. And every time I'm getting more experienced opponents, and obviously I have to get better every time also.
And what's the training camp been like for you? How's everything going? And where are you doing most of your training now?
Как у тебя проходил кемп? Как кемп проходил?
Ну, как обычно, мы усердно работали, вот. Ну, все хорошо прошло, все без травм, так что мы готовы.
As usual, the camp was fine. No injuries this time, so I'm very prepared, and I'll show what I'm capable of.
You used your striking more than usual last time out. Would you say that that's an area you've greatly improved in as of late and been looking to work in more?
Ты чаще используешь ударную технику, чем борьбу. Как ты это объяснишь?
Ну, не знаю, как так получается во время боя.
Yeah, I do use more striking, even though my background is wrestling. It just happens in the fight. I like striking.
So you said that when you're not fighting, you love to travel. What are some of your favorite places to travel to?
Ты говорила, что когда не дерешься, ты любишь путешествовать. Какие у тебя любимые места, куда ты ездил?
М, а, Их много. Ну, вообще, в первую очередь, я еду домой. Я очень люблю горы. Так что в первую очередь после боя обязательно поеду сперва в горы, а потом дальше, не знаю, буду планировать. Так,
Из тех, куда ездила.
из тех, куда ездила, все перечислять. Не знаю, их много, я не могу перейти. Я сейчас не вспомню все.
Uh, After the fight, I always go home. My home is my favorite place. I like mountains, and I do live in by the mountains. When it comes to traveling, I've been to so many places, and I like the travel itself. So I can even name the one of the places. I like them all.
So Justine Kish has fought in multiple major MMA promotions, the UFC, Bellator. What does a win over her do for your career?
Justine Kish выступала в больших промоушенах, UFC, Bellator. Как ты думаешь, победа над ней, что для тебя даст?
Ну, победа над нею это еще больше, как это сказать?
She means the win over Justine will obviously it's a big recognition because she has a big name. She fought in a big promotion, as you said. So that's it.
So you just talked about Justine, but you guys are both ranked, and we're seeing some movement now in your division, including a title fight being announced just an hour ago, later this year. What does this win do for you in the division, and what are you looking at next following this fight?
Вы обе у вас в рейнг, ну, вы в топах, и буквально час назад был объявлен титульный бой в твоем весе. Как ты думаешь, победа над этим боем как тебя приблизит к титулу?
Ну, я думаю, что этот бой, я думаю, будет все решать, мне кажется, потому что у меня остается один бой по контракту.
I think this fight is very important, not only because of the title fight that was announced, but also this is my last fight on Bellator, so a lot is on this fight.
Your last couple fights, you've gone to a decision. Now, also including the fact that this is your last fight on your contract. Are you looking to go and get a finish, whether it be KO, TKO, or submission, and really send a statement not only to the division but also to Bellator? And would you like to be back here?
Последние пару боев у тебя дошли до решения, и учитывая то, что ты сейчас сказал, это последний бой у тебя по контракту, ты думаешь, тебе надо будет рисковать, чтобы получить, чтобы финишировать и получить получше контракт?
Нет, это бой последний. Другой.
I'm sorry, she has 2 more fights.
Okay.
But still, that question is, ты будешь пытаться финишировать?
Ну, естественно, я всегда пытаюсь финишировать.
I always try to finish. It doesn't always happen though.
And what's your turnaround after? Obviously, you're focused on this weekend, but would you like to get another fight in by the end of this year?
Ты, конечно, фокусируешься на этом бою, но ты бы хотела еще один бой успеть провести до конца года.
Да, конечно, я вообще хочу часто выступать, но, к сожалению, иногда у меня это не получается из-за здоровья, из-за
I-
травм.
Yeah, I want to be more active, and I said the same last time, but unfortunately, I had another injury. After every fight, I'm planning something, but I'm always having injuries. So after the last fight, she had a knuckle injury, but now this camp was perfect. She avoided the surgery, so hopefully, if the fight goes well, she wanna fight again this year.
Ken?
K Williams for Can Chronicles Media. At 6-0, can you express on some of the confidence that you have going into your next match against Justine Kish?
У тебя 6-0 рекорд. Это дает тебе уверенность, что ты без нуля, без поражений идешь?
Ну, это, да, может, чуть-чуть дает какую-то уверенность, но больше...
Yeah, it gives me a little confident, but I'm not really focusing on my zero. I'm coming to win each fight.
Thank you, guys.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Sully Cauley, how does it feel to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota?
Feels great to be back, man.
Who's in your corner?
Danny Brandt and Jordan Johnson, same as always.
Mm-hmm. This is the first time you'll be entering the cage as a fiance. She said yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel like you were an ASU kid just like me, like last year or something. Now you're already about to be a married man. Are you starting to feel like an old man yet? Or are you still fast AF boy?
You know, yeah, man, life's moving forward and it's all really exciting, but I definitely still feel like a kid.
Mhm.
You know, we bought a house, I'm engaged now, but like, man, like I still feel like a baby. The prospect of having kids is still terrifying. So
You're coming off your first defeat of your young and budding career here in Bellator MMA. I spoke to Bader cage side immediately after the fight. He said he wasn't worried one bit, stating that the setback is only going to help you grow and get better as a martial artist. Would you agree with the wise veteran Bader? And what would you say were some of the key takeaways from your last fight?
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a painful learning experience, but it was a learning experience, you know. I think major takeaways for me was not to take anything away from trainer because he did a good job, but I just really didn't feel like myself that night. And I think I kind of got away from fighting the way that I fight best. You know what I mean? And kind of try to just push him up against the fence and Khabib him, and that's just not really my style, you know. So you know, I'm gonna be back to moving and grooving and being fast and snappy and you know, you guys are gonna see me fight how you know that I can fight.
Mm-hmm. Are we keeping the walkout song?
No, we're changing up the walkout song. Gotta change the mojo up. The mustache is gone. The
Mustache is gone.
Walkout song's gone.
Last one. Since we're both Sun Devils, I have the hat on. We're in the great state of South Dakota. What is your Mount Rushmore of ASU wrestlers? Don't feel pressure to include Bader.
Oh, Mount Rushmore of ASU wrestlers. I know somebody's gonna be mad at me because I'm gonna forget somebody. I think Zeke Jones has to be on there. Let's say Eric Larkin needs to be on there, national champ. I'm gonna say Zahid Valencia deserves to be on there, a couple-time champ. How many presidents are on Mount Rushmore? 4?
Yeah, one more.
I need one more. Ooh. Definitely not me. After that, I think you gotta go. Kane. I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
good.
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
No Bader, I like it.
No Bader, he sucks.
What's up, Sullivan? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA. We're talking about Bader, so let's keep it going for just a second here. I know you've been asked this a million times by now, but being around him so much and having him a part of your team, what's it like? You know, you came off the loss. Obviously, I'm sure he was very helpful with that, but there's so many lessons to take away from him. And how is it being around him every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helpful. Bader will give you advice, but Bader's kind of a lead by example guy. Like most of the stuff I've learned from him, I've learned just by watching. I've seen him take losses. I saw him get knocked out by Corey Anderson in Phoenix. I fought on that card too and saw him take that like a champ, keep moving forward, continue to win fights after that. You know what I mean? So yeah, having a guy like that to look to is definitely the big plus.
Absolutely. And now that you have experienced that once in your career, is there any sort of wrath that you plan to impose on your opponent as you avenge that loss? Like I would assume that you took it pretty personal.
I definitely took it personally. I took it hard. You know, honestly, I feel happy coming into this fight. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to fight. And you know, Mike Tyson said a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. So I'm not like, oh man, I'm so pissed off. I'm gonna take it out on Hamza. But when I'm happy and I'm moving and I'm grooving and I'm fighting how I fight, you do not want to be standing across from me. You know what I mean? I can be very violent. So I think that's what you're gonna see. Thanks.
You do seem very happy, which means the violence should be coming this weekend.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're looking to get the round 1 finishes streak back going again?
I would love to, but like I've said this before, I'm never like looking for it. I think it's just a byproduct of how I do things. I'm ready for 3 rounds, but that's what it takes. But you know, I like to to fight aggressively. So it wouldn't shock me if I can get him out of there early.
You're kind of following a similar schedule this year as you did last year. Would you like to
Yeah.
get another one in this at the end of this year?
Definitely, definitely. I'm always trying to fight as often as they'll let me. I know there's some crazy stuff going on right now with the promotion possibly selling, possibly not. I'm really trying just not to think about that much right now and just focus on Friday.
Well, they did announce Bellator 300 with Ryan Bader on that card.
Yeah.
That is in October. Is that too quick of a turnaround from here?
Not for me. I don't know if you have to ask Bellator how they feel, but I'll go.
You've been asked a lot about the loss, but outside of that, not what you changed in camp. Obviously, no mustache. We're going to change the walkout song, but and you talked about Bader and some of the advice. But you personally, when you reflect back, what were you able to like take away from yourself following that fight?
You know, it's not life and death, man. I was undefeated, and I just wanted to get out of that fight with a win so bad. I didn't care what it looked like or how I did it, and you know what I mean. I just don't think that obviously you're competing, you want to win, but I don't think you can be so hyper focused on wins and losses. I think you need to be focused on fighting, and that's where my focus is now. Thank you.
Bills. Hey, how's it going, Sullivan? This MMA Locker Room, part of Puff Sports Radio. I was able to. Oh, good, man. I was able to see your last fight out there against Luke Trainer. I was actually at the event. I noticed afterwards, you was enjoying the casino and stuff with your friends, because it just shows, even coming off of a loss sometimes, when you surround yourself with winners, you're always going to be a winner. But I just wanted to ask, why was it so important for you to get back onto the card and fight this quick? Because there's a lot of fighters that they fought probably about 5 months prior before you, and they're still not out calling for fights. Why was it so important for you to get back in that cage?
I mean, nobody wants to sit on a loss for a long time, right? I just kind of want to get back in there and erase it. But aside from that, just I like to stay busy. I mean, I'm a fighter. I like to fight. It's my job. It's what I do. So a little bit of time off and then back to training is how I always do things. So I'm always training. I might as well be fighting too. So I'll always go when they give me the call.
Thank you, Sullivan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sullivan.
Рома, а ну скажи что-нибудь.
I'm here, guys. I'm here.
О, нормально. А ну скажи еще раз.
I'm here, guys. Hello. How are you doing? Нормально.
Слушай внимательно, Рома.
Ну, давай, ухо даже заткнул.
Hey, Valentin, how we feeling?
Что, будешь переводить?
Everything fine.
So this is your rematch with Steve Mowry almost a year after your first fight. Did you think that this fight was going to happen at some point again or no?
Я понял, но переводи все равно. Говори.
Не, пацаны, я не слышал ничего.
Ладно.
Стена громкую.
It's rematch, yes, but first fight, I think it's not fight. It's like 1 minute. That's why I think in this fight everything can happen. Why I ready good. I think Steve too ready good for this fight. We'll see what happen in the fight.
So you fought both Ryan Bader and Linton Vassell. Their fight was just announced for Bellator 300. What do you think happens in that title fight?
Да, да.
С Райаном Бейдером анонсировали бой на Bellator 300. Что ты думаешь про этот поединок?
Я его не слышал, наверное, будет ладно.
I think Bader win because he have good cardio. Lintel Vassell can win only first round. If fight go second, third, 4, 5 round, I think Bader win. Maybe decision, maybe TKO.
And on the same topic, you have fought both of those guys, but you're still ranked really close to the top of the division. Do you feel like with a win over Steve Mowry this weekend, you might fight the winner of that fight? Maybe you fight Ryan Bader or Linton Vassell again for the championship.
I don't know. I hope.
Как ты думаешь, если ты выиграешь своего оппонента здесь, выходишь ли ты на поединок с победителем той пары?
I don't know. I hope maybe I fight who lose in this fight and then fight with champion. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I fight to title after this win. I hope.
And we just had Steve Mowry in here, your opponent. He was talking about how he believes that he will win the battle on the ground. How do you feel like you two match up stylistically?
Он думает, что он меня выиграет внизу, да? Типа этот Мowry.
Я плохо слышал.
Ну, что-то про низ было, да, там?
Yeah.
А ну.
Steve Mowry was in here earlier saying that he believes he will win the battle on the ground if it comes to it. How do you feel like you two will match up stylistically?
Если бой будет такой же, как прошлый, ты выиграешь также, будешь доминировать на земле, или по-другому будет проходить один?
Давай по-русски. Его не услышат, наверное.
Не, почему? Говорить.
Ну, думаю, что, надеюсь, в стойке у меня будет преимущество. Ну, думаю, и внизу я смогу, найду, что делать. Ну, буду стараться сделать так, чтобы в любой из позиций, что в стойке, что снизу, ему было некомфортно, и я мог победить его в любой из позиций.
Try to do everything to make you uncomfortable everywhere. So maybe I find the key in his ground game and my ground game, and I find the key, and I will open this lock. So, but I will try to do everything on ground, on stance, everything to feel him uncomfortable.
What's up, Valentin? So a couple months ago, earlier in the year, Fedor had his last fight. What has Fedor's involvement been in everybody's career, the team, since then? How has he been holding up as a coach?
Как тренер. Ну, как он как тренер, да, чем он сейчас занимается после окончания карьеры, как он как тренер нам, да? Да нет,
Давай, я уже устал. Все хорошо, помогает нам всем готовиться к боям, присутствует как наставник, как тренер, подсказывает, правит технику. Ну, в целом остается с командой, тоже тренируется, стоит и в спаррингах, и борется. Поэтому как бы карьеру активную закончил, но продолжает заниматься спортом, нас тренировать. Поэтому как бы активно участвует в жизни команды.
With us. He is in our camp. We're training together. He is standing in the sparrings, on the ground, on striking game. So he's with us. He's our mentor. So everything is fine. He's still with us. He's a sportsman.
And last one from me, what does it mean for you to be here surrounded by a group of great fighters from the same team? A lot of you guys are out here. What's it mean to be on the same card? Couple of you guys.
Ну, что для меня значит быть в такой команде с хорошими бойцами, да, такая суть.
Да, и с такой командой.
Я не знаю, что на русском. Ну, это большая ответственность, большая честь быть в этой команде. Постараюсь послезавтра ее отстоять, честь команды, хорошо и быстро, надеюсь. Ну, большая честь, конечно, находиться в такой команде, представлять Федора.
It's a huge honor. It's a huge honor to be in this team, in our team. And I will try to do my best to make after tomorrow everything quickly as it's possible.
And Valentin, when we talked to Steve earlier, he did say that he was ready to close this chapter. Obviously, there's a lot of movement at the top of the division. What does this fight? I know you said maybe you'll fight the loser, but where do you see yourself at the top of the division, and what does a win for you do?
Все услышал, Ром, потому что я вообще не слышал.
Ты до этого сказал, что сказал, респект. Вот. Скромно сказал, что ты, может быть, поделишься с проигравшим того боя. Вот. Но сейчас в топе дивизиона очень все-таки озвучь свои мысли
О том, что сейчас тоже происходит. Я не знаю, я не слежу сильно за топом дивизиона. Я знаю, что чемпион Бейдер, первый номер сейчас Вассел, второй я, третий Мowry, а кто даже вот дальше, там четвертый, я не в курсе, поэтому не знаю, что в топе происходит. В топе знаю вот этих 4 человек, а кто там дальше идет, я не в курсе. Ну, будет видно.
Honestly, I'm not looking so close to the top of the division. I know that I'm champion, second one, and I'm a third one. And I know the 4 guys in the top of the division. Say honest, I'm not looking so close to the top of the division. I know my closest opponents.
When you face a guy, over a year ago, and you come back, you're not the same fighter. He's not the same fighter. You guys barely spent any time together in the cage. What's the biggest difference for you coming into this fight, and how have you changed since your first fight?
Отличаться от первого боя, чем будет.
Ну, смотри, вы теперь 2 разных, да, потому что вы уже друг друга встречались, прошло много времени. Он изменил кое-что в себе, ты изменил кое-что в себе. Какие вообще изменения сейчас могут произойти? Чем этот бой будет другим? Почему?
Нихуя не изменилось. Год прошел. Я не знаю, как изменились мы. Я же не знаю, как он тренировался. Свои наработки я знаю, что я готовил, а как он изменился, я не знаю. Поэтому что будет происходить и чем этот бой может отличаться, я вам ответить не могу.
I can't tell you how this fight is gonna be, because I know how I am changed, but I don't know how he prepared for this fight and what he changed in his game plan. So I can't say to you what's gonna be.
Ромчик, спасибо.
Jordan, welcome to your pro MMA debut fight week. How's the what's the difference for you? Obviously, competing is nothing new to you, but you're here, you're with Bellator, you're making your debut. What's fight week been like for you?
It's amazing, right? It's everything I've dreamt of, but just trying to take in each and every moment, right? And live in the moments. You only get one debut. I've been competing at a high level my whole life. Now coming from wrestling, the only difference is we get to punch, kick, and choke people. And, at times in wrestling matches, you want to do that, right? You get a little bit of that. So, it's been great. And I have a bunch of teammates on the card. So it's almost like home away from home, right? We have 5 or 6 different guys from Kill Cliff here. So there's a comfort aspect here as well. So I feel great. The weight's never an issue. Was making 143 for wrestling. The 3 extra pounds is like night and day. So I'm just excited to compete and showcase my skills and everything I've been working on down in Kill Cliff.
I can tell there's genuine excitement and happiness here. It's like we've spoken before. You kind of took my next question out. You only do get one debut. So where's the mindset on the stamp and the print and the lasting image you're going to leave on this debut?
Right. You want to be the people's champ, right? So for me, it's like you want to come out, you want to give them what they want to see. Even in my training, leading into this, my coaches are like, dude, you're a wrestler, because so much in my training, I fell in love with striking, and I'm starting to strike and I'm feeling comfortable. And I have to, they'll get on top of me and be like, you better start wrestling, right? So being able to mix that in, but, I want to be able to showcase a true full mixed martial artist, not just coming in and being a wrestler. Yes, wrestling is my strong suit. Push come to shove, if things need to be controlled or I need to take things to the ground, that's what I'll do. But I want to showcase my full ability, whether that's striking, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, cage wrestling. I want to become the ultimate mixed martial artist. So, I want to give the crowd what they want to see. And obviously for my debut, we want to finish.
Well, I'm excited for you. Last one for me. You've mentioned it. We've talked about it here at Media Day a lot. Is this the Kill Cliff takeover here in Sioux Falls this weekend?
Oh, that's right. Kill Cliff. That gym is going to have a great night on Friday night. And we'll celebrate after and take that momentum into, the 12th where Luke is fighting and go home and celebrate and get back to training.
Hey, Jordan, Pat Dana from Combat Sports UK. So, despite this being your debut, you are 33 years old. Is this something that, looking back now, that you would have wished you did sooner, or do you feel like this was the perfect time for you to do this?
In 2016, I almost made the change. I've invested 29 years of my life into wrestling, and to not, put myself in a position to win an Olympic gold was not acceptable for me. So there's some points where, I wish I would have did it earlier, but then again, this is my path. And I feel very, very comfortable, and I'm still in my prime, right? And the knowledge that I've gained through those years that I didn't make the change are helping me now. And on this day, right, for my weight cuts and just performing at a high level and just being ready to accept the mental capacity and the physical capacity of a fight.
Yeah, no, the weight cut must be, not easy, but, not something you're used to at this point. So I definitely, I get what you mean. The wrestling has, prepared you for this. So you actually hold multiple wins in wrestling over fellow Bellator fighter Bryce Meredith. Is that a fight you'd be looking to get in MMA at some point?
Oh man, Bryce is under the same management as me. Bryce is a very, very good friend of mine. Bryce is fighting, I believe, 135. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in a sport where, you know, only one person can be a champ, right? Just like wrestling, only one person can be on the team. So that's definitely not a fight that I'm going to be like, hey, I'm asking for that fight. Me and Bryce are really, really good friends, and I wish nothing but the best for Bryce. But if it came down to terms of me and Bryce had to fight for a title, obviously, you know, being good friends, but as soon as we got in the cage, it'd be kill or be killed. And then after, you know, we'd circle it back up. But, you know, those are all possibilities. And even wrestlers, you know, past wrestlers and wrestlers that are in Bellator and, you know, I can compete against. Hopefully we can stay as a union, but like I said, push come to shove, there's only one champ.
So you had multiple wrestling matches against Brent Metcalf, Zane Rutherford, Joey McKenna, many more. Who would you say is your biggest rival from wrestling?
Man, I would say biggest rival is Brent Metcalf, right? At the time, such a decorated collegiate wrestler, one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant in his era. And then his senior level, he was just a bear. And for me, I think I was like 1-6 against them. And all the matches were barn burners. So he was somebody that really pushed me and evolved me and helped me develop in my wrestling, inside and outside the room. It was a guy that I had to beat, right? But the record's 1-6, so I don't know if you would call it a rivalry, but if you watch the matches, they were all barn burners. And, you know, I wish I can always get them back.
What's up, Jordan? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA here. What did wrestling at such a high level in a prestigious school do to help you prepare for this mixed martial arts scene, more specifically professional mixed martial arts?
You know, even the process of making the transfer to compete in MMA, become a mixed martial artist world champion, you know, wrestling had already put me through this process. It's something that wasn't new. One reason I chose Oklahoma State is because of the coaching staff, right? You had John Smith, Eric Guerrero, but you had the best coaches, and also you had a room full of killers, right? So the guys that I were competing against were national champions. So whoever I towed the line against, I didn't believe was ready to compete against me. And at the high level, I was always competing at, right? So looking at gyms and getting ready to compete in MMA, you know, I took the same approach. And looking at a gym like Kill Cliff, you have such a prestigious group of coaches, but then you look at the roster and all of the different looks and fighters that I can get. And for me to be the best fighter, I can't only train with wrestlers or strikers, right? I got to have a mixture of everything, and they got to be great. So definitely prepared me in making my decision, and then just competing at a high level, you know, mentality, you know, of taking in the pressure, going through the weight cuts, and just the strenuous training, right? Of preparing. And then after all the weight cuts, right, you drain yourself, and then you have to have your peak performance. So something we did weekly, and we were making weight and competing and wrestling 2 hours off the scale. So this is actually not too bad. So wrestling's prepared me, I think, much more than I even thought getting into MMA.
Awesome. And speaking of Kill Cliff, obviously, like you said, it's a room full of killers. Is there anyone that you've kind of singled out or been working with more than others to help you get ready for this MMA debut?
Man, it's just been teamwork. I've been working with all of the coaches from, you know, Coach Hoof to Sean Soriano, Greg Jones, who's the wrestling coach, and Sean Strout and Dieter Navarro. All of these guys are sprinkling a little bit of knowledge in everything they have. And, you know, when it comes to training partners, you know, I'm almost cream of the crop a little bit, right? Because I bring such a high level of wrestling, right? So it's awesome for me because, you know, I got guys like Luque Vicente, who's, you know, once helped with wrestling, and I can offer him wrestling, and I'm just like, hey, just how about you sprinkle a little bit of that striking gears to me, right?
Right.
So getting to have those exchanges with all these guys, and Gilbert Burns and Darian Caldwell. I can go down the list of Richie Lewis, Jared Gordon, Michael Johnson, right? And these are guys I'm training with every day at a high level. So not only are they helping me and molding me, but man, fighting these guys every day, I'm prepared to fight anyone.
What's up, Jordan? How you doing? We've talked a lot about wrestling. I'm gonna keep it going. How do you anticipate the nerves on fight night stacking up compared with the nerves headed into an NCAA championship wrestling match?
Oh man, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be more nerve wracking than wrestling. Right? Wrestling, I've competed for so long, so I knew what to expect. I knew kind of even my opponents. I knew kind of what they brought to the table, their pace. Right? So this is all new for me. Right? I've had such nerves in competing on the Olympic stage and Olympic trials and US Opens and all of that. But I think this is going to be a lot more of an adrenaline rush. And it's weird because in wrestling, I would be nervous. You know, the nerves started the week of. I'm not even nervous yet just because I feel like in fighting, there's a lot more I can control. And in wrestling, you know, referees and different point scoring got in the way of that. And with fighting, you know, you can control that a little bit more. A guy starts putting pressure on you or pace or whatever it might be. You can use strikes to take them down. There's a boatload of different opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the adrenaline and the nerves, I believe, will be there on fight night, but they're a good thing.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about guys like Daniel Cormier and Henry Cejudo and how they've influenced you throughout your combat sports career?
I mean, those guys are who laid the blueprint, right? You have DC, who came from Oklahoma State, Henry Cejudo, who's a very, very good friend of mine that I've watched. And I talk to these guys every week, you know, bouncing technique off of them, even just picking their mind. What'd you do for fight week? You know, how were your weight cuts? What were you looking? Your rest days? And anything I can get knowledge wise out of these guys. So they've been like two big brothers to me. So for me, you know, it's an honor just being associated with them. So hopefully, you know, I can repay them and, you know, breaking their records.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's asked the corny question, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask it since we're in the great state of South Dakota, of course, known for Mount Rushmore. I was wondering if you could tell me what your Mount Rushmore of NCAA wrestlers is, the 4 best ever.
4 best. Well, I'm gonna say NCAA, you got Kyle Dake, number 1, right? 4-time champ, 4 different weight classes. Dude's unbelievable. Kale Sanderson. You have, I don't want to be corny and give all to the 4-timers. The guy that trains me now at Kill Cliff, Greg Jones, one of the best wrestlers I have ever seen. Don't know why he didn't go to the world level, but dude's amazing. And then I would probably say myself.
I was gonna say Jordan Oliver. Thank you, man. It's a good one.
Thank you, Gordon. That's it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Can I take a photo real quick, right?
1, 2, 1, 2.
What's up, James? How you doing? How's it feel to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota Fight Week?
I've been in better places, but it feels good to be here.
It's been about a year and a half since we saw you last set foot in the Bellator cage. Are we going to see a completely different and new and improved James Gallagher come Friday night?
Nah, you're going to see the same old fucking me step right back in there, mate. The same old me. So it is with a lot of new skills, and it's going to be a fun night. Look forward to going and having a scrap, you know what I mean? Well, not a scrap, but just to get in there and fight somebody. Do you know what I mean? And I'm glad this fella brings a fight, and we'll see who's left at the end.
Every fighter says there's no feeling that can replicate what it's like to be in that cage, fighting in front of thousands in attendance and viewers from around the world. What do you imagine it would feel like if you were to get your hand raised on Friday night? I know you've won fights, of course, in the past, but with the time off and everything, you feel like this one might feel, getting that winning feeling again might feel even better?
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, it's all about the performance. Do you know what I mean? And I'm coming in here as a cold martial artist in here to do my skills. And absolutely, it's going to be, I'm going to be overwhelmed when I get that win. But it's about the performance for me. It's about coming in here and shining, putting all my skills on the line and showing off my work. Do you know what I mean? That's the main part. It's not to come in here and get a quick win just to get my hand raised. That's the bonus of my hard work, and I'm looking forward to showcasing it.
Definitely. You're set to fight the alley cat, James Gonzalez. Most people feel that his 10-6 professional record doesn't tell the story when it comes to his improved skills and his toughness. What do you know about Gonzalez, and what do you think makes him a good stylistic matchup for yourself?
Yeah, I'd say that's right. I'd say that he doesn't get enough credit for how good he is, but it's just the way this game goes, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, but I don't give a fuck about him, but I ain't in this for credit. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I know what's what. I know how good he is. I know how good I am, and I know it sets me a rest from the pack. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we're going to see on Friday night. What separates me from these guys? What makes me different? And yeah, you got to tune in Friday night, and you'll see it.
Hey James, Patrick Dana from Combat Sports UK. How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro.
Good, love to hear it. So you're coming off a near 2-year layoff. What were some of the biggest struggles you faced on your comeback to the cage?
Just getting through injuries, do you know what I mean? And that was mainly it. But no, there wasn't struggles. Do you know what I mean? I fucking love this game. It's not like, do you know what I mean? It's a struggle to be off. Do you know what I mean? There's no struggles in the game. It's when you're in the game and you're fully immersed and you're in training, there's no struggle. Do you know what I mean? It's smooth sailing from there. And that's just battling them little injuries so you can get back in. Do you know what I mean? That's the challenging part. But once you're in the game, it's fucking there's no struggles. All fucking I'm in my element. Do you know what I mean? What looks to be like a struggle, what looks to be hard work, what looks to be grilling, the grind, and all this bollocks is that's where I thrive. That's where I'm having fun. Do you know what I mean? That's where I'm me. Do you know what I mean? That's where I ain't fucking like sitting up here and speaking, and I'm not like, not that I'm against it, but it's kind of like I just want to be in the gym training, learning martial arts, and want to be in fighting people. And it's something that's probably came back to me after that 2-year loss was the realizations of just how much of a pure fighter that I am. Do you know what I mean? When I was 13 years old, running into St. Pat's Hall in Strabane, fucking coming in, flexing on people, just wanting to fight people, fighting men in their 20s when I was a young kid. You know what I mean? I didn't give a fuck about who watched me, who cared about this. I was coming here to show what I'm made of. And Friday night, I show who the Strabanimal is. Do you know what I mean? And remind everyone of those days. Do you know what I mean? And remind them of what I'm made of.
Can't wait. So you were scheduled to fight Leandro Higo earlier this year. Both of you fight on this card. Is that something you're still interested in? And have you seen him at all this week?
I don't give a fuck who I fight next, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going down to 135 to fight him. He doesn't even make weight half the time for 135. So if he wants, he can come up and I'll fight any fucking one of them. I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Whoever win on Friday night, I'll be texting Bellator on Saturday morning going, who's next? And whoever they say send back, that's who's next. You know what I mean? Let's get this show on the road.
Love it. So for your former opponent, Patchy Mix, won the interim belt, and now he's going to be fighting Sergio Pettis soon. What do you think about that fight? How do you think he fared?
I think it's a great fight. I think Patchy beats him. So I think Patch will become the world champion. So I do think he keeps him long in the feet. Don't think Pet is some serious striking, you know what I mean? Definitely, but I think he'll be too scared of Patchy's long shots to kind of let loose. And then when he does let loose, I think Patchy will grab a hold of him and tie him up. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one. But then again, if he wants to fight at a weight class that he can make, he can come back up and fight me at 145. He couldn't make it the last time. Do you know what I mean? So there's another fight in the card. So there we've got 2 already. You should get a job for Bellator matchmaking.
What's up, James? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA here. Glad to see you back. I think it's going to be a great week. After coming off this layoff, is there a little bit of a sense of urgency, or do you feel as though you have something to prove in this fight?
Nah, not at all. Probably less urgency than usual, to be honest, because the time off the game is like it's made me realize like I'm in no rush. Do you know what I mean? I'm in no urgency to go in here and just get a quick finish, a quick win. To do anything that, you know what I mean? I'm in no urgency at all to do this, only to keep composed and do what I do and fight. Because when I do that, I steal the show every time. I get all the attention in the media. I get all that anyway when I just do that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't have any urgency to do anything else other than go in there and fight, have fun, enjoy it, and show off what I'm fucking made of.
I like that answer. Now that you're back in action, do you plan to stay active and be pretty active throughout the next couple of years?
Fucking right, mate. Get me in there next. I'll go again in 2-3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? And I can make 145. It's not an easy cut, but I can make it a lot sooner than I can make 35. 35, I need 12-week camp. I need all this. Is where for 45, I don't really need that because I'm always in that kind of shape that I can make 45 within 3-4 weeks notice. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to go. If I'm fresh after flinging, I don't break my hand again, then yeah, let's go.
And last one from me, James. You were originally scheduled to fight Chris Lencioni in this at this fight. Unfortunately, super unfortunate news on that out of Lencioni's camp there with his medical issues. What was your immediate reaction when you heard about the news? I know it was super sad for a lot of the MMA community.
Yeah, but fuck what that is like. Do you see him? He's back on his feet. Do you know what I mean? That's like fucking delighted for that man. Just I seen that there at the start of this fight week, and it was a good boost for me to come in and see that he's back on the mend and back. You see him running up hills, fucking, and do you know what I mean? So just to see that recovery, do you know what I mean? And not dwelling on the negative, and just to see that positive that he's able to look at the hard work that fella's put in these last few weeks. Do you know what I mean? To get to that point from being in a coma, a cardiac arrest, a coma, to be able to run up a hill. Do you know what I mean? And then we're all here, you know what I mean? Got weight to make, fucking complaining about it, injuries, complaining about that. We don't got no problems, mate. Do you know what I mean? I don't got no problems compared to that. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I look at. So that's where I take inspiration from, and I take a lot of inspiration from seeing him get back on his feet and showing that there's no matter what happens to you, no matter what, there's nobody can fuck with you because you can always get back on your feet, and that's what he showed.
Hey, James, so obviously you're very happy to be moving up to 145. Just talk to me just how camp has been different. You know, obviously the weight cut, you said it's not always easy, but what's it like being at 145 for this fight?
Yeah, it's a lot nicer. So it is a lot better. It's like I'm fueled for training. Do you know what I mean? So I'm actually going to train to be fueled and perform, and after training, focus on recovery and able to eat a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Not much, but a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I'm still big for fucking 145. I've still got a lot of weight to shift by tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? So it's no easy task, and yeah, but I'm a lot happier. It's a lot easier of a time. It's a lot more straightforward. Wouldn't say easier, but it's a lot more straightforward of a training camp.
I know you were asked earlier about urgency after having such a long layoff to get back in there, and you're more focused on showcasing all your hard work, all your skills. But I've been following your career for quite some time, and I know you want to send a message not only just to yourself, but to the world and now this division. What is your message to 145?
They'll soon see on Friday night. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to tell them. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to do anything. I got to show up and fucking fight. And that message will soon spread across the whole division going, oh, do you know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see when we deal with him. Do you know what I mean? That's what the message is going to be. Everyone's like, oh, he says this, says that, says this. I ain't saying shit. Do you know what I mean? We'll soon see when I show up there and pit this guy away on Friday night.
I'm super excited to see you back in here. Obviously, Bellator is going back to Ireland next month. When I would believe,
hit me on it. This fuck, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. Let's go.
I would love to see it. I was going to ask if you want to go in February, but if it sounds like you're ready to go in September. Yeah, sign me up.
I heard they might be going to Belfast in February.
How would that?
Yeah, let's go. Put me on. Let's fucking go. Any of them. I don't care where I fight. I just want to fight. Do you know what I mean? If just fucking bring your man in here right now and we'll fight. You know what I mean? I don't care. Just let me at it and let's get paid. Do you know what I mean? Let's fight. I'm ready to go.
This is my last one, and I've talked to you about this in the past. Mentioning those cards, overseas, back home for you.
I built all them cards up.
You did. There's no denying that. You're here in South Dakota. You're obviously one of the most electrifying, if not the most electrifying guy on this card. When you put it all in perspective, whether it's South Dakota, Ireland, Belfast, no matter where it is, why are you the showstopper? Why do you steal the headlines?
Because I'm a polarizing figure. Do you know what I mean? People don't like to admit how good I am. Do you know what I mean? And so they'll literally take every little tiny thing and try to make it like a flaw. So motherfuckers, I'm flawless. Keep trying to pick. Do you know what I mean? Keep trying it. Do you know what I mean? I've been doing it since I've been a kid. Do you know what I mean? They've been doing it. Just never give me my credits, and thankfully I'm not in this to get credit from fucking nobody. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. If you think I'm the best in the world, if you think I'm the worst in the world, like, yeah, cool. Sorry to tell you, I don't give a fuck what you think. Do you know what I mean? And that's why. Is because it truly shines. It truly shines that I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? So then they like, oh, let's make him give a fuck. And then they try and pick at you, try to get a rattle out of you and all this. But it's been happening. How long now? I'm assigned to Bellator? About 8 years. They're saying the same shit. None's changed. Not one fucking thing's changed. You know what I mean? And that's the funny thing about it. And it's kind of going, oh, he's going to be found out. It's going to be found out. Found out about what? What's already found out? It's been a consistent thing for the last 8 years in this game. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a young veteran. And that's the one thing that shines to you is consistency. And I consistently have been in the game, consistently winning fights, bar 2 losses. Do you know what I mean? And that's all that matters. Do you know what I mean? I'm consistently good. No worries.
Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Jake. Mills.
Hey, how's it going, Stranimal? It's MMA Locker Room, part of Puff Sports Radio, mate.
What's up?
Good. I just want to talk to you, man. Out of your 10 fights in Bellator, I mean, you finished 8 of them inside the distance. That's at an 80% clip. Some fighters can't finish their lunch. You always finishing fighters in the ring.
I think it's 9 fights. I think it's 9 finishes.
Oh, okay. You got me on that one. So we'll get at that 90% clip then. With that being said, I'll love to be corrected on that. Yeah. All your fights usually finish, inside the distance by a choke or submission. I feel like this time, we might actually get a ground and pound win this Friday.
Yes, bro. Fucking yes, I agree with you. I agree.
And then I got one more other thing. So right when that bell rings and they say fight, take me into the locker room in your mind, how you switched to killer mode. And last but not least, how did it feel to see your man over there, Conor McGregor, not able to pull it out, coaching for SBG Ireland, so you to just watch and, I know you wanted to go over there and help your man out, but talk to me a little bit about the Conor McGregor coaching on Ultimate Fighter and how you would love to go over there and represent for the team.
Oh, I can't go to the Ultimate Fighter, bro. I'm on their contract with Bellator. But yeah, Connor's a phenomenal coach, man. So it is. I remember years ago training with him, and he used to coach the boxing classes in SBG, and people don't realize that the details that man has. Do you know what I mean? And how he's able to pass information along. He's he's a phenomenal coach. I know he hasn't had the results, but it doesn't make sense. How can you put a bunch of up and comers and against veterans and expect a positive result? You know what I mean? That's not really how this game works. You know what I mean? The experience is key. So, but if you actually watch the details of the coaching, people in the game knows what's what. Do you know what I mean? And his details are absolutely unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? You actually seen, what was it last week where the fella fucking he face planted the guy with a big overhand right? You know what I mean? He's practicing how to pop the power into that shot. Do you know what I mean? That was a good one. But yeah, man, it's been good.
Mark. James, how you doing? It's Mark starting here at BBC Sport in Belfast. Are you all right?
Doing good, mate. Doing good.
Good. James, I just wanted to get an idea from you, if you don't mind, just what it's been like in that time since your last fight. Has it been difficult? Are you able to turn it into a positive? What's it been like for you since then?
No, it's a bit frustrating not being able to do my job. Do you know what I mean? Or do what I love. That's been the frustrating part. But the best thing about this job is that what you do in the outside is what brings it to the table. Do you know what I mean? And what essentially what I do in the cage. So I've had a lot of time to work on that and work on the stuff that I have to bring to the table for my job. And so other than being able not to show that off, that's been the real frustrating part. But I've been working very, very hard, and I feel like I've matured a lot as a person and as a fighter, and I'm feeling really prepared, really calm, confident, and feel like that the time off did me the world of good to really hone down in some of the skills that I might have been left out a little bit, and might have skipped past and stuff like that. So I've had a lot of time to work on stuff that I wasn't able to work on when I was very, very active. Do you know what I mean? It's just one fight onto the next. So it's been nice to have that little break, but also not nice at the same time, because fighting's what I love. Do you know what I mean? I just love to fight and love to be in there and love to be under the lights and love to have a go off someone. Do you know what I mean? So that's the part that I miss.
Yeah, and that long layoff, James, I suppose, given it was coming after the fight. I mean, most sportsmen would tell you they want to put that right straight away. You've had a bit of time to wait for that. I mean, I suppose you must just be ready to go straight at it, are you?
100%, because after that last one, I broke my hand in the first round, and the doctors there were like, "Oh, you need surgery," and I was like, "No, I don't. I'm getting straight back at it." You know what I mean? And I went back training for like a month, but I couldn't use my hands. You know what I mean? It was like a balloon. I needed surgery on my thumb, so I went then and got the surgery and stuff like that. So I was kind of all these obstacles and everything that has been in my way, from the injuries, the bollocks that I've had going on. It's been like a blessing for me. Do you know what I mean? So it's been like any adversity that I've had has been an absolute like true blessing to kind of not let me fight, but also to teach me how to grow, how to overcome these things, and how to deal with them. And because when you're at fight week and these things, you get everything fired your way. So it's really taught me how to deal with that, overcome it, and it's good for the head.
And apart from a win, obviously, James, I mean, what do you want to get out of this fight?
Just showcase my skills, man, show off my training, show off all the hard work that I have been doing. And obviously I'm here to fucking win, but most importantly, I'm here to display my skill set. Do you know what I mean? And once I do that, the win takes care of itself. Do you know what I mean? The show, I steal the show doing that anyway. I don't got to try to go in here to win. I don't got to try to go out here to steal the show. All I got to try and do is be the best version of myself on the night. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Just last one for me, James. Obviously, it's a sport that's getting more and more new fans all the time. For maybe new fans who are new to the sport and maybe haven't seen you in action yet, could you sort of give us a bit of an idea or a flavor for those who don't know of what James Gallagher's like?
Yeah, well, it depends who you ask. Ask Kiefer down here, he'll say I'm a wanker, you know. You ask me, I think I'm a sign cunt. So it depends. But nah, I feel like that I'm a complete martial artist, and I'm going to display a kind of fight in here with high volume attacks with high level defense. I don't feel I'll be touched. I'll be really elusive on the feet with heavy wrestling and heavy top pressure on the ground, and batter my opponent into submission.
Good stuff. James, thanks very much. Good luck for the fight.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Jake. Where's this Jake fella at? We've been looking for him for a while.
All right, you're good, Jim.
Is that me doing? Thanks very much, boys. Appreciate it.
Over here.
Good. How are you?
Doing good. How are you enjoying your time in South Dakota so far? I saw you made a trip to Falls Park yesterday. How was that?
Oh yeah, I took a trip around the whole entire city. I had everything there was to see here. I stopped at the Pentagon to check out the venue. Stopped at the Sanford Wellness Center. Went to the mall. I pretty much did everything you could do here in one day.
Cool, cool. It's actually in the shape of a pentagon. I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Why do you think they call it that?
I didn't know. Now I figured
Come
it
on,
out.
man.
I finally figured it out. You always come into fight week dressed to the nines. I had that line prepared before I even saw you dressed.
I can tell.
Are these suits and outfits handpicked by Dalton Rosta, or do you have a guy for this?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the last
Are
part?
these suits and these outfits, are they handpicked by Dalton Rosta, or do you have a guy or your girlfriend or someone? Does someone put this all together for you, or is this all you?
David Allen. He's my suit guy, custom suit guy. He works with a lot of professional athletes, football players, WWE wrestlers, AEW wrestlers. I've been lucky enough to work with him for I think 5 fights now. And yeah, so the first few I completely picked myself. The last one before this, he completely did. And then this fight was kind of like a collab. Like he sent me some ones that he had ideas of. And then I chose like the color, the patterns, everything. And then he chose the complete style, like the double-breasted look, the no tie, the pop collar, and then the 3-piece vest. And then he designed the lapel, everything else. So yeah, man, he's great.
You guys are doing a good job. Shout out to David Allen. Is that say Hercules on your sleeve right there?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah. It's awesome. You're set to fight Aaron Jeffery in a battle between top-ranked middleweights this Friday. Do you feel like this is your toughest test to date on paper? And what makes this fight an advantageous stylistic matchup for yourself?
So he's pretty decent everywhere. He's well-rounded. So I think he's the most complete fighter that I faced, but I don't think he's the best. There's plenty of other fighters that I fought that were better in certain areas that posed more danger and more risks, whether it be knockouts or wrestling, like Romero Cotton with the wrestling knockouts, Tony Johnson, Ty Gorder. Then you got, I was just speaking about this in an interview before this. You got guys that are like awkward and unorthodox, like Anthony Adams. So I've seen pretty much everything up to this point, and everything that I haven't seen in a fight, I've seen in training. So I'm ready to pass this test with flying colors.
I saw your meme of Aaron Jeffery last week. Very high quality. I give it an A+. Have you guys interacted at all outside of that post or run into each other in the hotel or anything like that?
No, we haven't ran into each other, but there was a post. Somebody commented on a Bellator post of us two, and I commented back and said, he's too slow and too small. And then he posted something, didn't tag me though. Somebody else tagged me, so I ended up seeing it. And he was like doing these curls with like a tiny dumbbell. And he was like, Dalton said I'm too small, question mark. So I commented, just having a little bit of fun, taking a little jab at him. I was like, I take back what I said. What's your secret? So he thought it was funny, said some laughing emojis back. And then he posted something on his story recently with like the minions, and it was just pictures of him and then me. And then they were doing the boos and then the applauds. It was pretty gay, if you ask me. Hopefully I don't get canceled for saying that, for that choice of words, but yeah, so those are some interactions we had outside of that.
And then I was going to ask one last question, probably the least important, could be an important one though. Who's going to have a better year, Deontay Johnson or George Pickens?
George Pickens for sure. Deontay Johnson drops everything, you know, and in clutch moments, this dude, he doesn't show up. Yep.
So you have that really, oh, sorry, Patrick Dana with Combat Sports UK. Hi. So you have that really solid meme game. Is that something you had before fighting, or did you adapt that in order to bring like a new style of trash talk?
So back when I was an amateur, I started doing it before my fight with Cody Brundage, who's in the UFC now. And that was probably the first time I started. No, I take that back. There was a fight before that where I was fighting a guy. I don't remember his name, but we were both undefeated. I was 5-0. He was 5-0. It was for a title for some random amateur promotion. And I put, he was a black guy. So I put one of the Jordan crying emoji faces on him and said, like, this is going to be you after the fight. And that was the first one. And the second one was before the Cody Brundage fight. I took the Alistair Overeem and Ngannou fight, and I posted my face on Ngannou and then Cody Brundage on Alistair Overeem. So that was the start of that. And then recently, Caged Media, they do a lot of like my filming and stuff for my videos that I've been posting on Instagram recently. And for the few fights before this, I'll send them an idea that I have for like memes and tell them like, all right, I want this done or this clip. And they put it together for me now. So now I have somebody doing it where I can collab ideas with them and we come out with a finished product where I don't really have to be the one doing all the work behind the software.
Nice, nice.
Sure. Well, hit me up.
So you definitely got a lot of work in with welterweight champion Yaroslav Amosov in the lead up to this fight. How was it training with him? What did those rounds look like? And who else did you train with in the lead up to this fight?
Man, I was just talking with Mike back there about this. Yaroslav, he's probably the best overall fighter I've ever trained with, period. Dude's good everywhere. And he's not just like a normal, well-rounded guy that's proficient everywhere. Like he's great in every aspect of his game. So the rounds are great. It's hard push. And it's always good goes going with him. And I'm always grateful to go with him. Another person who's very good that I was training with for this camp for the first 6 weeks or so was Johnny Eblin, champ in my weight class. Also very well-rounded, very good fighter. And we were sparring twice a week for about 5 or 6 weeks. And so I got some good rounds in with him. And then I was sparring with Mike Lombardo and Roman Feraldo as of late, the last 3 weeks. And Mike Lombardo has a similar style to Aaron Jeffery as well, that come forward, head over your knees, constant pressure type of style. So got some looks in with him. And then my last few training sessions was with Lucas Cortez.
So you got a lot of fireworks on the 4th of July. Is that a tradition of you lighting off a shit ton of fireworks, or just how do you go about your fireworks on 4th of July?
So one of my sponsors, Scooter King, they also own Sky King. And Newcastle, where I'm from, is actually a firework capital of the world. A lot of people don't know that. It's a small town, but it's firework capital of the world and hot dog capital of the world as well. And so we got good hot dogs. We got good fireworks there. And I was back for the 4th of July this year. I love the 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. And I didn't want to miss it. So I went home for it and I hit him up and we got together and he hooked me up with a lot of fireworks. So got to set those off. Almost hurt myself a couple times. Don't recommend it. But yeah, it was a good time. Yep. Appreciate it.
What's up, Dalton? Dylan Napoleon with New England MMA here. I saw that you did some strength training with 2-time Super Bowl champ James Harrison. What is his involvement like in your regimen?
So we're more so friends. It wasn't really like he was like coaching me on strength condition or anything. We got a couple workouts in together where he was like, hey, or I was like, hey, let me come work out with you. And he was like, all right, hit me up. I go Monday at 5 a.m. So I texted him, we set it up, met him at 5 a.m. We worked out that time. And then the next time I was home, we got another one in. So dude's strong, I'm strong, especially in the weight room. And he made me feel weak. The dude is just, he's a different beast.
Awesome. And you touched upon it before. This is a big middleweight contenders fight. How do you expect this fight to go with Aaron Jeffery?
I think I'm going to knock him out. I think he's going to, put up a fight. He's durable. I don't think it's going to be a walk through the park, but I think it's going to be a lot easier than he thinks it's going to be, and a lot of fans are going to be. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Can I take a photo real quick? Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Logan, it's Mark.
Hey.
How exciting is it I know you had your first fights here, but as your career has progressed, how exciting is it now to have more and more important fights in your home state?
Yeah, I think it's a special opportunity. At first, when I first started coming back home for fights, it was maybe a little more pressure, things like that. But now, if you look at fighting at the highest stage, how many guys get to fight in their home state, in their hometown, things like that. So it's a good opportunity, and I'm excited to go out there and put on a show for the fans on Friday.
Could you ever have imagined traveling the world with this new profession you've picked?
Yeah, starting out, I first really started doing MMA. I was an 8th grader, freshman, just playing around, Brock Lesnar being from my hometown to fighting on the world stage, winning a belt and, getting to travel all over the world. Like you said, I don't know if I could have imagined that as a young kid, but when I was older, maybe 21, 22, got done with college, I knew that I had the skills to go and be the best at this sport.
How do you prepare, and how are you planning to prepare to come in on Friday against a guy like Brennan, who's all the definition of chaos?
Yeah, you have to know what you're going in against, and he's an athletic, explosive guy. He's going to bring the fight every single time. But I know where I'm good at. I'm good at my scrambles. I'm good at pushing the pace. And I really always find a way, from wrestling to now, as I'm a competitor and I get to work with the best guys. I think I'm at the best gym in the world. And so you have to put a game plan together, and be ready for that. And so for me, after the Amasov fight, I went back to the drawing board, had to look myself in the mirror, answer the tough questions, and get better. And so I'm excited to prove that on Friday.
Now, if you go in and do what you expect to do, the Amasov fight, obviously I know you want that back, but what statement can you show this weekend to let Bellator know, to let the division know, to let the champion know, I'm coming. I don't care about previous records. I want this fight. I want that belt.
Yeah, I think it's going to take probably two good victories and being dominant. Brennan's right there. If you look at the division, we can all beat each other, but he's a problem for a lot of guys. And so I think a lot of people know that. And I didn't want to sit on the shelf and not fight and wait and wait and wait. I wanted to get in there and fight. And he's one of the best guys in the world. So to go in there and put a dominant performance on and finish a guy like that, that's a big statement.
Right over here, Logan. Also on the card, we have your Killcliff teammate and fellow Golden Gopher wrestling alum, Michael Blockus, making his professional fighting debut to kick off the show. What can you tell me about him? Are you expecting a victory and big things from him moving forward?
Yeah, so I helped recruit Michael to come to Killcliff after University of Minnesota. He lives with me now. And so I've gotten to see from when they came in, I think last year, they came in down and just played a little bit and didn't really go real hard rounds, to see that evolution of him now. It's a completely different fighter. And so your first fight there's always going to be nerves, not very many people ever get in a cage and fight another human, let alone, he's a young kid at 22, but he's a competitor, and, but it is different the first time you step foot in there. But I know that he's well prepared, wrestling at that NCAA level against the best guys in the world. So he's going to be, he's in good hands. We got him ready. But yeah, I'm excited to see his future.
I'm sure you'll make some time on fight night to watch that fight, right?
Yeah. So he'll be the first fight of the night. So I'm going to have to watch that one.
Since his return, your opponent, Brennan Ward, has managed to rattle off 3 consecutive wins, all victories coming by way of second round TKO. What is it about Ward's game that you believe has led him to have success within Bellator? I know you just spoke about his chaotic style and whatnot, but why won't he be successful against you? Why won't that work on Logan Storley?
Yeah, I think for me, it's each matchup is different, right? When I fought Gracie, I stood on the feet for 25 minutes and didn't play into his game. When I fought MVP, I took him down and beat him up, I'm a guy that has a game plan, right? We're detailed. I get the best guys in the world, and really comes down to I find a way to put myself in my positions, win my positions, and that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to find a way to get to my positions and win those positions.
This is a little off topic, but you did just mention the Neiman Gracie fight. I just wanted to ask you. I feel like that's one of my favorite, maybe top 5 Bellator fights of all time. You and Neiman Gracie. It was billed as the battle of ground supremacy. You guys didn't touch the ground maybe once or twice. Is that your favorite one of your own fights?
Yeah, I think for the step up, he was ranked number 3 or 4 at that time. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to go out there and just really prove everyone wrong, because a lot of people were saying stuff before that fight that it was all wrestling. And I didn't have what it take to get to the next level. And so that was a fight where I just got to prove everyone wrong, got to let it all hang out, get in a absolute battle for 25 minutes. And so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Last one. I promise this is the last time I'm gonna mention Mount Rushmore. I've done it a couple of times so far, but we are in South Dakota. I was wondering if you could tell me your Mount Rushmore of athletes from this great state of South Dakota, starting with yourself, hopefully.
Putting me on the spot. Well, you got Randy Lewis as an Olympic champ, Mike Miller, the NBA. Yep. You got Chad Greenway, played 13, 14 years with the Vikes, long time. You got Brock, former champ. What is that for? That's dang it. No, I think we've had 6 Olympic champs in wrestling from the state of South Dakota. We've had a lot of success in wrestling when it comes to, Lincoln McRae, guys like that. And then now, if you just take a look at Sioux Falls, the little league team right now, 2 years ago, they got 4th place, I think. Right now they're in the championship of the Midwest. You look at the facilities around here, youth sports are getting better. Sports are getting better in Sioux Falls. We're getting more competitive. The state of South Dakota is getting more competitive. SDSU. So I think the state of South Dakota as a whole, is starting to figure out that, man, we can compete with anybody in the world. And we're not just worried about beating Minnesota or Iowa anymore. We want to beat everybody. And we have the facilities, you have the training, you have the guys. And so that's what I think is exciting for South Dakota in all sports, especially in the youth sports, is they're getting that opportunity to get taught by the best people in the world and have the facilities to do it. So I see it'll be fun to look back in 15, 20 years and talk about a Mount Rushmore and where these young kids, where they're at and start getting more people in professional leagues across all sports.
Hey, Logan, Patrick Dano with Combat Sports UK. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. So all of Ward's finishes come in the first 2 rounds of the fight. Are you planning to test his cardio and drag him deeper into the fight?
Yeah. That's another thing. I just got done with 3 25-minute fights since I fought Gracie in February of, I don't know what it was, 21, 22, 20, was it 22? Yeah. So February 22, that's 75 minutes in the cage. That's a long time. And competing against, at that time, probably the top 4 guys in the world, 75 minutes. It's tough, but I've been in there, I've done it. And I don't think anybody's really made him wrestle super hard yet. And he's kind of bullied people, pushed him over. At the end of the day, this is fighting. Anything can happen, right? Anybody can get hit with anything. We're well aware of that. But when that doesn't happen and a guy doesn't fold over, well, then you're going to find out. You're going to find out who can push harder, who can continue to transition, get back on the feet. So that's where what I plan to do is I'm going to bring the fight to him. I'm going to push forward. I know he's going to be ready to throw down, and we're going to find out who can push harder for longer.
So alternatively, all of Ward's losses come by finish. Do you see yourself stopping this fight? And if so, how and what round?
Yeah, I do. For me, it's really, I got to get back to my finishes. And that's what I want to do. And that's a statement. That's proven why I'm ranked number 1 and to get back in that potential title fight. So that's what I got to do, is go out there and put a pace, make it exciting, and put this guy away.
Last one for me. So you and Ward both fought on the same card back at Bellator 274. Did you guys interact at all? And if you did, what did you think of him? Did you see him as a potential opponent in the future?
No, I mean, we didn't have, you respect anyone that gets in that cage with you. I don't care what they say. You don't hate anybody that you fight. That's all BS because you respect them. And that's why you train for 8 to 10 weeks and get ready and cut weight and do things right. Because that guy has the potential to beat you. But yeah, when this fight got announced, I was excited. I didn't want to sit on the sidelines. I was ready to go. Knew it was a tough fight. And so now it's time to go get that done on Friday.
What's up, Logan? Dylan Napoleon here, New England MMA. What's it mean to you to be here in Sioux Falls? This is the second time you fought here, right, with Bellator, or a couple.
Third time.
Third time. And yeah, basically, what's it like for you? This is a big time moment, headline in the card. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of support out there.
Yeah, it's always it's nice to get to come back and put on a show for the people who have supported you. Most of my sponsors are from here. My friends, family, and people that, will send you messages and pictures and things like that of them watching the fight is from back here. Like this is my home. These are the people that have watched me since I've been a young kid, wrestling and winning state titles, right here. It's South Dakota, where I was born and raised. So for me, it's a big moment. It's to once again get to go out there and put on a great show for South Dakota and just prove everyone that like I said before, the best athletes can come out of the smallest places.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Logan.
Thanks.